Hokum.
Da-da-da-da. Hokum. Hokum.
Hokum.
Hokum.
Hokum. It's a real funny word, hokum is. You know that?
It's a great word.
Silly little word.
I heard that it means a mashup of hocus pocus and
I just
buxom or
realized
something.
what your image looks like.
Oh yeah, why did you make it look like
I
that?
didn't make it look like that. That's how you made it. Cause
No, because the MS. I don't know how MS Paint works. It doesn't matter to me. It's incredible. It's probably
Hang
my
on.
most proud.
Hang on. We might be able to improve the situation. I think we can improve the situation.
It is my most proud achievement, probably.
There we go. See, we've made it better.
We've made it better. It's incredible.
I'm not sure if that's better.
It's my great work.
I'm not sure if that's better. Hey, we're gonna get bigger.
Oh.
Oh, we're bigger. That was weird.
That was crazy, dude. We got so big.
Hokum.
Hokum.
Well, this year we have had a lot of videos we've made, right?
Yeah.
We have had hot takes where we criticize something,
Yeah.
like Obsession or like Backrooms.
Mm-hmm.
We have had
criticism.
We have had cold takes where we praised something that was widely beloved, as in Band of Brothers
Hoorah.
and A24's Warfare, which we
we did.
both of which we praised to high heaven. Basically,
Yep.
nobody has anything bad to say about those things except for one.
Except for one individual.
Except for one individual.
Which most upsettingly is that he is a fellow rat. It's very sad.
I know, a fellow rat, a member of the tribe. Shout out to Ratmathy, much bigger channel. We have had cold takes where we criticized something
Mandalorian and
that
Grogu.
everyone else was criticizing. But
It was
we have yet to really just praise something that we really liked that came out this year that not a lot of people are really talking about.
Yeah, I guess so. The only thing I was introduced to Hokum in the Obsession Instagram comment sections, where everybody was glazing Hokum, or everybody was glazing Obsession constantly. And I saw this. My first understanding of what it was is I saw this little comment from a person who was like, "Guys, Hokum came out this year and it was really good, but I feel like Obsession just drowned out all the praise that Hokum deserves."
It seems like it may have because, well, Obsession has made almost $300 million at the box office on less than a $1 million budget.
Oh my gosh!
That's compared to Hokum, which made $24 million against a $5 million budget. It's a little bit of a difference there, wouldn't you say?
A little bit of a difference.
Wouldn't you say?
This movie, I liked a lot. I liked it a lot on my first watch through. I liked it a lot on my second watch through. It was a very good horror movie.
Now, I had a very interesting experience with watching this film because the first time I watched it, I just took several monster hits from the BONG. From the BONG of the good oib, they call it.
Yeah.
And I kind of wasn't super present in the room.
It was very annoying watching the movie with you as you randomly told me about life.
I wasn't telling you about life. I was giving you, like, that's the thing, right? You have your most genius thoughts, but you just don't know how to describe them. You just don't know how to explain them in a way that makes sense.
It's so hard to take notes during a movie, and then there's this person sitting next to you, and he's just like, "This is despicable. They're all gonna die. It's the end. They're all gonna die. No one's gonna live."
Tell you what, very scary in that
Very
state.
scary
In that
movie.
state, especially. And then the next day, I woke up, watched a video on the movie, and then watched the movie again while sober.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you what, I think this movie is really good. I think it's really pretty good, and it's frightening. It's a frightening movie. It's got some very good scares to it, and I'm kind of sad that I didn't see it in theaters.
Yeah, that would have been an experience.
That would have been a pretty awesome experience.
Terrifying.
But we were latecomers to see this movie,
Uh-huh.
and we're here to sing its praises for the most part. Maybe every once in a while, little problems here and there.
Let's do our little traditional IMDb look.
Oh yeah, let's check.
6.8 out of 10. That's the same as Disclosure Day.
Oh, what is with IMDb, man?
What a terrible website.
IMDb has some nasty, stinky takes.
Backrooms is rated better than this movie.
Backrooms is rated way better than this movie.
So this movie is made by Damian McCarthy.
What else has Damian McCarthy made?
I know he has made very few things. He has made something called Oddity, which have not seen, but the video I watched on Hokum, the guy Glazes Oddity, something called Caveat that came out in 2020. Oh, Oddity came out in 2024. And then he made a short in 2010 called He Dies at the End.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of that before. This film came out of a lot of different production teams, including Image Nation, Abu Dhabi, Spooky Pictures, Tailored Films, Queecha Features, Team Thrives, and the distribution rights were acquired by Neon. Which, don't quote me on this, but I think Neon made Barbarian. I think they made...
Bad, I think. I didn't see it. I heard not good things about it, though.
Really? I thought Barbarian was alright. But I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I know that the people who were involved in making Barbarian and Weapons were involved with making this movie.
Okay.
And I can see the line of inspiration.
Yeah.
I thought Barbarian was fine. I thought Weapons was fine, but a little bit overrated. They're a little silly. I think this movie is better than both of those movies. It's scarier, and the themes are a bit more interesting in
Yeah.
in
Themes
Hokum.
that we haven't necessarily completely nailed down yet, but we're still trying to figure out, and hopefully we'll find ourselves along the way.
Hopefully we'll figure them out here with you guys. You, the
Yeah.
viewers. You should like and subscribe to the video.
Our synopsis... Shut up, you prick.
Sorry.
The synopsis of this movie is a horror writer visits an Irish inn to scatter his parents' ashes. Unaware the property is said to be haunted by a witch. What a simple premise.
That description is like, wow, that really is just the goofification of this movie. So that's
it's
the
like-
gloompification.
Uh-huh.
But we've already said just about what we got for opening thoughts. You want to get into the scene by scene already?
Let's do it.
That was hyper fast, hyper efficient work. All right.
Let's do this. We got 2 sets of notes to go off.
So,
movie opens. We're in a desert.
imagine that.
Big desert.
Imagine
There
that.
is a conquistador. He's dressed like a knight. It's just a man wearing some armor. He's got a sword on him. And he is in the desert wandering. He opens a bottle. He pops the cork out. Inside is a map. Checks his map, looks at the horizon. It appears he is close to X marks the spot, except it's a circle and not an X.
And I'll tell you what. When I saw that, I just knew it was over.
Yeah, you did.
I was...
Yeah, you did.
I immediately sensed just impending doom.
Uh-huh.
Doom is coming for these characters. And this conquistador is not alone.
He has a squire with him.
A
His
boy.
little boy.
Is it his son? Or is it just a squire? We don't know.
I don't... He's described later in the show as the boy. I would guess he is a squire or some sort of apprentice.
I think
to
it's his son.
conquistador.
I think it's his son.
You think it is his son?
Because I think that is why the conquistador is unwilling to smash his head in. And they're so, it's definitely his son.
Okay.
You remember the end of the movie? We'll talk about it when we get there, but it's definitely his son, I think.
We can go with that assumption. It's not said whether he is a son or not.
I don't know. I don't think the conquistador would be willing to just let his squire take the magical blessings from the bottle, but he would be like, I'll die so my son can have that, right?
Potentially. I mean, I feel like we can't, a master and his apprentice or a knight and his squire, that can be an unbreakable bond. Potentially.
It could also be a breakable bond.
It could also be a very breakable
I don't know.
bond.
I think it's his son, especially considering the relationship that the author has with his own father
Uh-huh.
that we'll learn about later. I think it's his son.
Okay. Well, he takes his map out, looks at the horizon, and they know where they're going. So he puts the cork back in the bottle with the map inside. Fatal flaw. Fatal mistake. And he walks through the desert. We cut to a circle. It is, well, actually, I guess here's what really happens. Is the conquistador takes out his water skin, drinks the rest of the water, drops it behind him, along with taking off his armor and his sword, and walks off. The boy that's with him runs up behind the conquistador, grabs the empty water skin, and tries to get just a few drops of water out of the skin, and then follows back after him.
So we gotta ask ourselves, what does that represent?
What does it represent?
Do we think it represents anything? The water flask, the father is drinking it, he leaves it behind for the son goes to drink it. We'll learn later that the main character's father, the guy who's writing this book, is an alcoholic, and that he himself is now an alcoholic. There's probably a reason they're showing that. I don't know. There's got to be a reason they would put.
I don't like the idea of the water skin representing. I don't like the idea of the water skin representing alcoholism, because in this scenario, water is a grave necessity that they both are in need of desperately.
Well, we don't know if there's water in there. We don't know what's in there. That could just as easily have been a wineskin.
Potentially. I think it's more safe to assume it was a water skin, though, considering they're in the desert and considering how fast the boy, like, jumps on it, right?
I want to get drunk.
I think that it's a much safer assumption to say it's a water skin. And I think that, now, in all fairness, if he is an alcoholic writing it, he could be writing it from the perspective of alcohol is like water to him and he needs it to survive because of his father.
I don't know about that.
But I more see it as, say, his father's lack of providing necessary things to him as a child, right? Like, his father takes up the last of his...
Sure.
Imagine if the water skin represents, like, the father's pride or the father's love. He can only give so much love, and he gives it to himself instead of his son and just leaves the scraps behind for his son, right? Something more along the lines of that makes more sense to me.
You could say that.
But after the boy drinks the leftover water, we cut to a man, and the man's in the real world, and he's writing the story. And he stops for a second writing this story about this conquistador and the boy, and he picks up his whiskey glass, ? A glass containing some sort of obviously not water.
Some sort of alcohol that is brownish. It could be whiskey, beer.
Yeah. Okay, actually, here's my secondary reasoning for thinking that the water skin doesn't react or doesn't represent alcohol, right? Because he lifts up his whiskey glass or whatever it is, takes a drink, and we get a shot of a condensation ring from the that he leaves on the table, and then it cuts. It hard cuts to back the circle. Into the story. The red circle is matching up with the same dimensions as. So the red circle might represent the red circle. I think represents more of alcoholism, and the father is chasing this alcoholism and leaving his son behind. Right. And that's why we see him literally crawling into the circle as if he's worshiping in a way, because that's what happens next. Yeah. He crawls on all fours into the red circle, and he just clutches at the sand, and it runs between his fingers, and he just says, "We're close." Mm-hmm. What are we close to? We're not their destination because they're here, but they're close to maybe the end of their journey. Whatever kind of power is in this bottle. Yeah. Why did they come out here so far against all odds? Well, something worth it, maybe. Well, the conquistador goes to grab the bottle to retrieve the map, possibly to look for the next instruction, or maybe some sort of ritual he has to perform in this circle. Well, the ritual is you break it, you pull out the map, and you follow the map while saying, "All is mine." Really? Yes. Where did you get that? It's from the end of the movie. Oh. The end of the movie, that's what he tells the son to do once the bottle is broken. Oh. So that is why they came here. Presumably, magic in that bottle is going to give them some kind of amazing power. Well, and control, which is why it was worth it. Well, the cork is actually, I don't think you're supposed to break the bottle. I think you're just supposed to take the map, right? Because his first instinct is to take the cork out of the bottle. You're supposed to get the map out, start from the circle, and go. And in this case, they have to break the bottle. Yeah, so he shoved the cork in too far, and he can't get it open. He left all his gear behind him so he can't break the bottle, and the boy starts saying, "I'll look for a rock," as the conquistador hits the bottle against the sand, trying to find some way to break this bottle.
And, of course, during this, we see his name is Ohm Bowman.
Ohm Bowman.
Ohm Bowman, what a name. Ohm is sort of typing away, and we get a very conspicuous shot of basically it's like a split shot. Imagine his doorway is on the left, and then there's a wall, and then on the right side of the screen, you see his stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing there right now, but it is just like, it's one of those house geometry features. You're like, that could be the scariest shit
house.
ever.
Yeah.
And there could definitely be something there later. It's a setup. It's clearly a setup. Chekhov's staircase.
Chekhov's staircase. But we cut back to our story, and the conquistador holds the bottle, realizes he can't open it up. He's lost faith that there will be a rock, and he calls the boy over. It's very heavily insinuated. We, the viewer, know what's about to happen. He calls the boy over, makes him face the other direction, and is just like, "Don't worry, stay calm, don't turn around." And he lifts the bottle up over the boy's head, like he's about to smash it on the son's head to get his fortune. And then we cut back.
I'll tell you what, as like an opening, you have no context. This is just like, this is menacing.
It is very menacing.
This is a very menacing opening to a movie. You're just like, yeah, okay, I'm not supposed to be watching this, am I?
Yeah. It's ominous. It very suspenseful, and one of the most impressive things about this video is about this movie, is their restraint with things that your typical horror movie that comes out doesn't have restraint with.
It's
like
definitely
soundtrack.
It's definitely one of those movies you feel like you need to take a shower afterwards.
Yeah, it makes you feel
because
dirty.
it's that kind of scary movie. It's just that kind.
But the action that takes us out of this story that he's writing is something falls over in the back of his room.
Horrible.
Horrible sign. This is another moment where you were just like, it's over. He's gonna die. It's over for him. And just some little thing got knocked over, fell over at the back of his house. He turns his head over. Nothing there. We get a shot of
one of the worst things that could ever happen to you, just in general.
Yeah.
There is a creepy silhouette of a lady standing on his stairwell. But I don't think he actually sees it here.
I don't think he does either.
I think
that. So I'll say what I think is. In many times we will see the silhouette, and we'll tell you who the silhouette is later, when it comes up. But I think this silhouette is only portrayed to the audience, and I think that he never sees it until the very, very end of the movie for one specific scene.
One of the mechanics at play in this movie is basically that specifically psychedelic mushrooms, maybe other psychedelic drugs, but in this movie it's mushrooms are the only one used, basically allow you to see paranormal things. So like
because they help you open your mind up.
Yes, it's not as though you're hallucinating them. That's not how shrooms work anyway.
Yeah.
You don't see false hallucinations like that. But if there is like a ghost in the room, the ghost is without a doubt real, but you will have no ability to see it unless you happen to be tripping.
I think it's more of you have to have an open mind and be looking for it. However, mushrooms kind of force you into that state of being open and experiencing it.
That could also be true.
Because I think that Jerry encounters some people in this movie while he is sober.
We don't know that he's sober,
but we don't know for sure.
He probably isn't sober.
He probably isn't sober.
He probably isn't.
And also, the manager will later encounter a ghost. That could actually be the explanation for what he sees, is that he knows the ghost is real. And so his mind is open to it, and he sees it.
It could be. Which ghost does the manager see?
The witch.
I think the witch is a completely different thing. I think the witch I think you will just see the witch, because a lot of people do see the witch without being on drugs.
Okay, I see what you're saying then.
It's specifically like
you're just talking about
deceased people, like ghosts, classic ghosts. Which is why I don't think he sees this ghost on the stairwell. But then you have to wonder, the next thing he does is he turns up the lantern to illuminate that stairwell and it disappears. And
we get
in truth, why would he be doing that if he didn't see the ghost? Well, it's because he heard a scary noise, and that side of his house is
or
sort
he
of
saw
shrouded
some
in
sort
darkness.
of shadow and lit the light up, and it was just very accentuated for us. And to him, it was just like this slight.
I reckon it was
shadow.
I reckon it was the ghost of his mother. But we got to see it.
We know that.
We got to see it. He didn't.
Uh-huh.
He heard a scary noise. That part of the house is dark. He just wanted to take a look.
Yeah.
And that's when there's a reverse shot. There's a jump scare where it is a female ghost. We will later discover it's his mother. Is right behind him. And there's a big old crazy sound.
There's a blood all over her.
There is blood all over her for a very good reason.
Yeah,
but there's sort of a crazy sound, and he spins around. He doesn't see anything.
Nope. He spins around.
He heard something. He probably didn't hear the soundtrack go, but he heard something to get him to turn around. Didn't see anything.
I think this is like our only real. Maybe there's some that are kind of very heavily music reliant. But this is the worst of them.
I think
definitely.
So. The whole jump, once again, always going to harp on it with horror, the jump scare that is from the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But at least it's more as if the soundtrack in this movie is accentuating something that would be
terrifying.
A jump scare moment.
Yeah.
Rather than
just a music shrill like
the Five Nights at Freddy's fucking stupid balloon boy where the jump scare is just that it's sitting there and the camera zooms in on it and there's a jump scare noise. It's just not a jump scare. Nothing happened. But in this movie, something is happening. He gets very frightened.
Yeah. But then he starts going through his belongings. We get a shot of 2 urns that say mom and dad on them.
I wonder who's in those.
And he opens up this box of memories. It has some sort of television programming called Jackass with a donkey on it.
Ooh.
Wonder if that will ever come up again.
Ooh.
And we see some picture of his family, a postcard of an inn in Ireland. Wonder if that'll come up later or be in this movie at all. I wonder.
Probably not.
Probably not. And then we see this locked box. He takes a little saw. The same saw that he uses later in the movie a couple times, actually, to do some important things in the story that probably has some sort of representation, but I don't know what exactly it would represent.
It's just a tool that will save your life.
Yeah, a tool to free him. And whoop-de-doo inside is a little tiny revolver, and he looks at it like it is incredibly significant.
And it is. It has massive, massive significance, as we will find out.
We will find
out very soon throughout the film.
But we cut to Ireland.
And once again, that is kind of the end of Welcome to Hokum, right? Because at this point, there's the title card. When that title card happened, I was pretty much ready to go. I was like, yeah, this is like a nightmare.
This is gonna be a scary movie.
You watch a movie like Obsession, it's scary, right? It's frightening. You watch a movie like Backrooms, it's not scary, it's not frightening at all.
It's annoying.
You watch a movie like this, I would call it dreadful.
Yeah, I'd say that's a very good
there's
description.
There's a sense of just doom. Of just an avalanche is fucking rolling down the hill and none of these characters can see it coming.
Yeah.
And they're going to get hit by it.
And that will happen in the movie.
So, we are in Ireland and there's a car driving up this winding mountain road being driven by none other than good old Ohm.
Main man.
And as he's driving, he looks out his window. And who does he see out in the woods walking around? But somebody out in the woods walking around.
Yep.
And we don't know who it is right now, but we will find out.
This man isn't even walking, actually. He's just staring at the sky.
He's probably in the middle of walking.
No, he was because our main Hokum man does a double take.
How do you think he got
Well,
there?
yeah, he had to walk eventually.
Exactly, and he will have to walk later. So as far as I'm concerned, he saw him walking.
What a silly thing to say. But our Hokum man does a double take. Maybe that guy in the woods will be in the movie potentially later.
I think there's a reason they're showing it to us.
Yep. But he keeps driving, and he pulls up to a eerie place.
It's probably the scariest hotel ever built.
Yeah,
It's just out in the middle of nowhere. This hotel, it's like has all of its medieval architecture in certain areas, but then there's random like uncanny normal. Like you go in the lobby, it looks pretty normal, but if you go upstairs, it is like it's a mix of I would say like the Shining hotel, or not the what's that hotel? Is that The Shining? There is a hotel in The Shining, but I don't know if it's...
What's the movie that has you open the elevators and blood comes out? And the two twins that walk the halls.
that is The Shining.
That is The Shining?
It is The Shining. It has been a while.
Yeah, so it's like a mix of the Shining
Overlook Hotel
with the spookiest like medieval castle you can imagine.
Yeah, that's a fair comparison.
It's very cottage core is how I would say it is built.
But he gets there, hops out of the whip, and he's walking up to the hotel, and he sees that a new character named Fergal has smoked a goat.
Smoked it
with a crossbow. And the goat's lying on the ground dead.
Yeah.
And Ohm is like...
I wonder if that goat will be back.
Ohm is like, why'd you kill it? And Fergal says they're pests.
And jump up on the cars and ruin the paint.
We're getting a sense here that Ohm is a certain type of person because he just can't... He can't stop pushing about this goat. He says, couldn't just shoo it away, huh? Goats are stubborn. Spray it with a hose? No. Fergal is getting quite mad.
Yeah.
And quite annoyed because
this guy's...
Ohm is just pressing him about the goat.
We will get a very easy sense, or a very obvious sense of who Ohm is as a person. He's very pretentious. He's very prideful. He's very stubborn, and he
doesn't like people generally.
He's curmudgeon-y. That's a good way to put him.
Then we cut to Mr. Cobb.
Mr. Cobb.
Mr. Cobb is in the hotel. All right? And he is talking to these little kids. And
these like 8-year-old boys.
I feel like you had younger siblings, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a moment growing up where like you told them like a freaky story that was like maybe like a little bit too scary for them at their age, and then like fuck their night up?
Yes, we went to the beach once, and I told them about the legend of the giant bird, and I told them all that the beach had a old myth where there was a very mischievous bird who wandered the beaches in the mornings and picked people off who are walking alone in the sea mist. And I told them that the only trackings or evidence anyone has ever gotten of the giant birds is big bird footprints, and then there would be a trail of human footprints that just stop in the sand. And then in the morning I woke up and I went out and I did that in the sand. And they went out to play on the beach in the morning and became horrified.
Dude, that's awesome. Massive. That's like exactly what you should be doing as a big brother. I didn't have siblings, but I had nieces and nephews who were pretty close to my age. And I remember telling them about, like, I think I told them about the rake.
I remember you telling me
the rake. It doesn't matter what the rake is. You don't need to know, but it's like, a creepypasta or whatever. And like we got a call from their parents that night, being like, "Dude, Wilson scared the fucking shit out of them, and they can't sleep." And I was like, "Damn it, dude! Why you gotta snitch?" I was mad as hell. But the point is, that's like, that's one thing. I would describe this as that. On like what Mr. Cobb is doing to these little boys is that on absolute steroids, because he's an adult.
Permanently traumatized.
We were children when we did that.
Yeah,
he was an adult. I
was 8 years old when I told.
He was an adult who should know better, telling them a story that would scare grown adults.
Yeah,
and
did you write it down?
I didn't write the full text, but the essential basics of the story are that there was a witch who would lure in travelers, right? And she would shackle them in chains and drag them down and take them on a tour of the underworld.
Yeah.
And as they were flying through the underworld, these dark creatures would reach out a hand and rip off a chunk. And sometimes they would take your tongue and your arms and your legs, but sometimes they would take a part that was even more valuable to you than those arms and those legs. And he looks at the boys and he goes, "Can you guess what part that might be?" And this is when Ohm comes in and he does it and he interrupts the story. So now we got to wonder, why is Mr. Cobb telling these kids this?
Because he's a horrifying, evil old man
No,
who likes to scare.
I actually think he has a good reason to do it.
What is your good reason?
I think Mr. Cobb, we know, is the one who has...
Yeah, he captured the witch.
He has captured the witch. He needs now to keep that myth alive and keep propagating it in order to make sure that nobody will open the honeymoon suite. So he is just like, yeah, it's going to scare the fuck out of these kids, but it's going to be worth it.
It's for the greater good.
It'll keep the superstition alive, right? And then more people will tell it throughout the generations. So he's just spreading it. But Ohm interrupts him, and he's like, he tells the kids, like, go find your parents and don't talk to strangers.
Which is probably the only helpful thing he does in this part of the movie. Because those poor kids, dude, those poor kids are not going to be able to sleep for weeks.
Yeah, that is just a very, very scary thought of like a thing that could happen to you. Even for an adult, like, ew, I'm going to be dragged through the underworld and have chunks of me torn off and they might tear off my dick.
Yeah.
Dude, go away.
But
just stop telling me this.
Ohm starts like throwing words with this old man. He's like, why are you such a mean person, basically? And then a manager of the hotel comes out, and he's like, oh, sir, what a jolly good day, sir. What is your reasoning for being here?
It's Mal.
It's Mal, the manager of the hotel. And Ohm Bauman, he goes to talk to Mal, and Mr. Cobb interrupts. And Omen turns around and he goes, is his name Omen? No, it's just Ohm.
It's Ohm.
Ohm Bowman.
Ohm Bowman. Not the name I would have chosen.
Mr. Cobb throws a quip and he goes, mind your business, old man. And then Mr. Cobb does the funny, I'm the owner of this hotel. It's all my business.
I like Mr. Cobb. I think Mr. Cobb is one of the few redeemable people in this film.
He is a G, and he hates Mal, which is a huge W.
Because Mal, we'll learn all about Mal, and his devious activities.
But as he says, I'm the owner of this establishment, and a guy walks in. This was a confusing scene to me. A guy. Oh wait, no, I understand it now that I'm thinking. Fergal walks through the door, drops off a briefcase that has the crossbow in it to the manager of the hotel, Mal.
Chekhov's crossbow.
Chekhov's crossbow. And then he walks over to Mr. Cobb and wheels him off in his wheelchair because he is crippled. Cringe. And Omen goes to check into his hotel room, and Mal is like, well, what's your name? Da 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 da. And then he... you tell the bit. You tell the funny bit.
What funny bit?
Okay, so...
Which one?
So he's, like, telling him about the inn, and he's like, have yourself a crack. Here in Ireland, a crack is what we call...
Oh, that funny bit,
It's what we call a good time. And Ohm goes...
Yeah, I'd like a room as far away from the crack as possible.
I've got work to do. And Mal is, while he is a fucking sociopathic evil man, he's like, oh, well, what do you do? What work do you have to do? And Omen goes, I'm a writer.
And crack. Mal gets him a room nice and far away from the crack.
And then he goes, wait a second.
He can be at peace.
He's like, wait a second, I knew I recognized your last name. I think my son's a great fan of yours. You think I could get a book signed? And Ohm says, hell no.
Ohm just says, no. Which, dude, chill the fuck out. It's not hard to sign a book.
Yeah. But as he's wandering to his hotel room, he walks past a mysterious gate. And Mr. Cobb and Fergal are standing at the gate. And we hear Mr. Cobb say, are you sure it'll hold? And Fergal says, it's built to last. And Ohm walks past them, and he gets lost, and he can't find his hotel room. And then a lady, her name is Fiona. Maybe she will show up later in the movie.
Listen, we don't need to make that joke about every single
I'm gonna
character.
keep doing it. I think it's funny.
Dude, I bet Ohm's gonna come back.
You think Ohm's gonna come back later in the movie?
I bet we'll get an Ohm payoff at some point. I don't know, though. I haven't seen the movie.
Yeah, you haven't seen the movie.
It's true.
But Fiona's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "I'm lost. My room should be right here, but it's not." And she goes, "Oh, well, your room's over here." And she leads him to his room. And then he gets to his room. And he shows Fiona a picture of his mom at a big tree.
Well, they're not at his room at this point. They're at the bar.
No, this is before the bar scene, because he will go do his thing and meet Jerry, and then he will come back to the bar.
I believe that's not true. Oh, no. Maybe it is. They do find his room. He's looking for something called the big redwood, because that's what he sees behind his mother, and that's where he wants to spread the ashes. And ultimately he does. He goes to the big redwood, he spreads the ashes, and he leaves the urn there. And that is when he is encountered by Jerry.
Well, he sees a dead goat.
Does he see the dead goat before he sees Jerry?
Yes, he sees a dead goat, and he walks up to it, and he's like, "Well, this is strange." And then Jerry goes, "Well, who was those?" He's like, "Well, who was those?" That's a mini jump scare. There's no music flare, which is nice, but it is kind of throws you aside, because you think that Ohm's alone. Ohm thinks he's alone, and he's like, "Jesus, you scared me, man."
Jerry has a habit of doing this, and he will continue to do it.
I wonder if he'll
But
control myself.
He offers Ohm a little drink, and it's a drink of moonshine. But Ohm says he doesn't know.
Offers him a glass of milk,
and then he offers him moonshine. Yeah. Ohm says, "I think I might need something stronger than milk." So Jerry gives it to him, and then he says, "You want something to defeat demons, and not just be running from them. Magic mushrooms." And the way he says it, he's so excited. He's like, "Magic mushrooms." Oh, yay.
And the funniest part is he's like, "I like to take mine with goat's milk." So the drink that he offers this random stranger is just spiked with psychedelics. It's like, oh my gosh.
I classify that as awesome.
What a horrifying thing to do to a poor stranger lost in Ireland in the woods.
Hey, you never know. You might be saving their life.
Yeah.
Or you might send them into psychosis. Yeah, they're either way is possible.
Jerry or Ohm asks about the goat. He's like, Bert, what does he say about the goat? Well,
Jerry says he's gonna bury it, and it doesn't much matter what Ohm asks him, because the real point of it is that Jerry goes into an explanation of why the goats jump up on the cars and why they need to then kill them, and he's like, well, the goats, they also like to graze upon the mushrooms, and they're looking for reflective surfaces, because when you're tripping, if you look into your own eyes, the trip gets deeper. That's, sort of, yeah. Mirror trapping.
It's not true.
You can get mirror trapped very easily, but the thing the movie maybe gets wrong here, and I don't think the movie gets it wrong, it's more like Jerry gets it wrong, is that, truthfully, goats and other animals cannot trip out on psychedelics. It's impossible. They don't have the correct receptors in their brains to even get a psychedelic effect from them. It's impossible.
And I think if they did, they would become much less docile as opposed to becoming more docile. They'd probably go ramming cars is what they would be doing.
I think they'd probably chill the fuck out most of the time.
You think so? I don't.
I think they would just be like, I don't know what's happening to me. I'm just going to lay down. They're not smart enough to really freak out.
Yeah.
But
we cut back.
That's his sort of urban legend that he has to explain why they hop up on the cars.
Yeah.
But we cut back to Ohm at the bar, and he's explaining his book to Fiona.
And he says the ending. The conquistador does crack the bottle over the boy's head, and he takes the map out, and he follows along with the, or actually,
I think you've got it wrong. He hits the boy in the back of the head.
The bottle.
It kills the boy, but the bottle does not break, so the conquistador wanders off into the desert to die.
Yeah.
And Fiona is like, why would you write that? That's so bleak. I'm not reading it if that's the ending. And he says, well, sometimes movies get made based on my books, and a lot of the people who make the movie like to tag on a happy ending. So you can watch that then.
That was a fun bit, kind of referencing some true adaptations that do that, because they do that a lot.
Yeah.
They take books
And that definitely...
like it from a previous movie that we discussed.
Yeah. It sort of had me wondering, like, is the point of this movie going to be that there is a happy ending or that there isn't one?
Yeah.
And we'll find out about that, because I can say I was pretty surprised.
We will be finding out what happens. It's bleak, but actually it's not bleak.
It's sort of an interesting meta discussion point, because apparently the director had an idea for the ending of this movie originally and then realized that there isn't really much of a point to it.
Uh-huh.
So he changed the ending.
He changed it to make it happier.
To give it... Well, now you've spoiled it. But
you've spoiled a bunch of stuff already.
But no, I haven't.
Yes, you have.
I actually haven't. But the point is,
We spoiled
this movie is almost a commentary on endings in a way, and what kind of ending you should add on to what kind of story, and whether there's any point to making bleak stories or not. And ultimately, it leaves that question up to the audience. But
I think
there's a lot of different stuff at play in this, you know.
I think I guess I fall into the realm of people who I do think that bleak endings are boring and pointless. I think that stories should I think they should have some sort of lesson of thing that they add to the viewer.
You know, we'll circle back to that. We'll circle back to that. I would love to debate you on that. But Fiona remarks that his mother looks happy after he shows her a picture and says, "You remind me of her." And Fiona's like, "How old do you think I am?" And he's like, "Well, this is her when she was younger."
Yeah, much younger. And she asks what she asks, like, what happened to her or something along the lines of that.
Ohm explains first that the reason he's here right now is because his parents honeymooned there. And then he explains the eventual fate of his mother, why she died so young, is that she was murdered, shot in the face when she came home from work.
Yeah.
And she asks him if the killer was caught. And he says, this is very telling, he was too young to be punished. They should have fucking hanged him. We'll circle back to this. And then he explains that his father turned into a monster and drank himself to an early grave. He says he's had their ashes for years. He never knew what to do with them, so he brought them there and decided to spread them at the tree. Then eventually, he asks why the honeymoon suite is closed. And she says, "Oh, well, it's haunted by a witch."
She's right.
Now,
she is certainly right.
A question we will have to answer throughout this film is, how does the witch play into the theme? How does it connect to the ideas that this movie's trying to get across? I'm not really sure quite yet, but
yeah, we'll have to discover that. I don't know.
Because we're going from, like, the narrative of, like, I had this extremely, like, traumatizing childhood where I went through all this stuff and I've only just now found out what I want to do with my parents' ashes after they honeymooned here. Hey, why is the honeymoon suite closed? Oh, there's a witch in there. You're like, what?
What? At least it's not as bad as the idea that the only way for you to break out of your cyclical habits is to be saved by the government. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say this is bad. It's just, it's just kind of like there's these two things running next to each other, and how are they going to connect? They're going to connect somehow. But she explains that.
Do you have an idea of how they connect?
I think I'm forming a sense of one.
I'm trying to form one in my head.
I'm not even going to try and bring it up right now.
But we will continue with our scene by scene.
Mr. Cobb, she explains, the old man, managed to lock that witch in there years ago, which one wonders how. I guess he's just a Chad.
Scissorgate, dude.
But
just closed it.
She really, really wants to go out there.
Yeah.
And see if there's really a witch, but she cannot convince Mr. Cobb to give her the key for the life of her.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohm is like, well, what if it gets you? You know, wouldn't you, like, be worried about that?
Yeah.
And she said, no, I'd bring chalk with me, because you can draw a chalk circle around yourself, and it'll
And she
That'll protect you
explains
from the
this
witch.
by opening up a little red Irish folklore book. And it has some knowledge about witches. And it says, if you ever go after a witch, bring chalk with you. You draw a circle around you and she won't be able to get you.
It's a very classic, like, the horror demon trope is, like, defending yourself with chalk.
Really?
Yeah, that's...
I had never heard of it before.
Oh, well, it's just like a fun detail, like,
Maybe that's why.
oh, the old chalk circles. You know,
Maybe that's
here we
why
go.
the chalk defeats my serpentine belt squeaking.
Of
It's
course.
actually a demon.
Of course, in a lesser movie, you would call it like, oh, of course you wrote the chalk circle. In a movie like this, I'm like, hey,
It's the chalk
hey,
circle.
the chalk circles. You know,
Hey, the chalk circles here. How
good to see
you
you. Good to
doing?
see you. Anyway, Otto
It's
the
been a long
bellboy.
time.
Otto the bellboy is here,
Albie,
and he
Otto.
is joining the conversation to talk about his own encounter with the witch.
Oh yeah. He tells this story where he was guarding the gate, and as he was sitting there guarding it, he felt a gust of wind coming from his back that knocked his hat off. He turned around and heard a noise coming from inside the hallway.
A fucking disaster.
Yeah, it's over for him.
Complete disaster.
It
It's
is
a
over.
damn good thing he has this
Yeah.
gate in front
And
of him.
he pulls his lighter out. Wait a second. We see that lighter later in the movie.
As a
Now
matter of
that I
fact,
think
as
about
a matter of
it.
fact, we do, and we'll bring it up when we do.
But he turns that light. I wonder if we'll see the lighter later.
Dude, stop. I'm going to knock you out.
Now
again.
the special thing about this movie is that
another
every
beautiful
scene
head
has
kick.
a different.
Another beautiful head kick coming up. That's gonna knock you unconscious.
But he turns his little lighter on to light up
It's a
the
little
darkness.
Zippo lighter.
Turns his little Zippo on, and a shadow starts to emerge, and we see the witch's face.
Appear.
Terrifying, horrifying.
It's pretty awful.
And
It's pretty
he's
awful.
doomed. And he drops the lighter and books it.
Now that is a weird thing. That is a weird thing. Have you ever I've never once in my life gotten scared and dropped something. I've only ever, if anything, I would squeeze it harder, right?
I agree.
And that could be like a thing because you might, break
Well,
something or freak out and
yeah.
spill something that's in a bowl. But I've never been and drop whatever I'm holding.
there was a restaurant I worked at in Chicago, right? The way this restaurant is designed, there's two different kitchens, and they're stacked on top of each other, basically. So to get to the prep kitchen, you have to go from the service kitchen, walk down the stairs, and around a corner to get to the prep kitchen. And it was the end of the night. I'm cleaning up. I'm dropping this stock. That dropping means I'm straining it out, getting it in a container so I can move it into the fridge and throw some ice wands in it to cool it down really fast. So I take it. It's 22 quarts is how big these containers are. 22 quarts is it's 5.5 gallons, which is 44 pounds of liquid that I'm carrying down these stairs. Super carefully. I'm yelling corner. I'm saying I'm coming through. I got a big thing of hot stock. Get out of the fucking way. And I turn around the corner, and the sous chef of the restaurant is hiding behind the corner. And he goes, "Boo!" Scares me so bad. I pull the stock into me, and it only a little bit. Thankfully, I'm the Chad of carrying, and I barely didn't drop it, but he didn't put two and two together and realize I was coming down. And he was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry," and he helped stabilize me so I didn't do anything worse.
Why did the sous chef do this?
Because he's a funny guy. One time he walked up to me with a leaf blower while I was working, and he pointed the leaf blower at me and turned it on, and my hat blew across the room, and then he just walked away. I love him.
The
He's
average prankster. I do greatly appreciate that. But it's not a big deal that it happens. It obviously this isn't super important to the story, but I just thought it was kind of a funny thing to note. He does then absolutely get the fuck out of there.
And then our dear bellhop. Well, actually, we cut back from the flashback, and our main man Ohm says, "Hokum."
And hokum is an interesting word. We went ahead and researched about it. Apparently, it's a word that can mean a couple different things. On the one hand, it can basically mean
bogus.
It can mean bullshit.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas it's I guess it's a combination of the words hocus pocus and
it was like Bokum or something. Bookum. some kind of British slang or
some
Irish
kind of
slang.
some kind of thing
that
that
means
basically
rubbish.
means nonsense. But like also the implication from that would be that you have a the other meaning of the word, if you mix it in, it basically means a device that a writer uses in a story to make you feel a certain kind of way.
In other words, the friends we made along the way.
So,
Hokum is the friends we made
like
along the way.
basically just anything that a writer uses
Yeah.
to evoke an emotion can be
Any sort of
described
tool.
as a hokum. So
That
in the
was a really
context
interesting. It's a very interesting word.
in the context of the scene, he's basically saying your story is bullshit and you're telling me this
to scare me.
to make me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And then also it raises, and this is where the thematic question of the witch comes into play for me, because the movie is called Hokum, and he describes the bellboy story as being a hokum, and that leads me to believe throughout the movie the witch is essentially a hokum. The witch is there literally just to scare the audience. That's its only purpose. And that connects to the way that Ohm writes stories, right?
Yeah.
He writes stories to evoke emotions, and he's a horror writer, so he writes stories to evoke fear.
Yeah,
and
one of the things when Fiona
other negative
challenges him and
emotions.
says that's a bad ending, I'm not gonna read it. He says it's supposed to be challenging, right? So he's using his like elements of his story are hokums. He's using them to challenge the audience.
So this is, in a way, this is a horror story about horror.
Yeah,
which is really, really fascinating.
and it's good. It's a good movie.
It's extremely meta. It's extremely meta in a way, and you might not realize that unless you learn about the meaning of the word hokum. There's a reason the movie's called it. There's an absolute reason the movie is called it.
And the beautiful thing about this is that you don't need to do all this funny research or thinking about the story to enjoy the movie, because it's a well-written movie. You can enjoy it without all these extra tidbits and tadbits and whatchamacallits.
So anyway, the bellboy asked him if he's enjoying his stay, and he's like, "Oh, I'm a fan of your work, and I saw your name on the manifest, and I didn't believe it was really you." And Ohm basically starts making fun of him, and he's like, I have an idea for you're giving me a new idea for a character.
He's got this record player thing, or this voice recorder. I wonder if that can't stop. Anyways,
Heaven knows how miserable now.
Albie looks at it and he's like, "Is that what you use to record your ideas when they come to you?" And Ohm is like, "Oh yeah, it is." And he picks it up and starts recording, and he says, "Idea for a character. A charismaless vacuum.
An oblivious charisma vacuum.
Who
is absolutely incapable of reading a room."
Yeah.
I made sure to write that down because I thought it was fascinating. Idea for a character, an oblivious charisma vacuum incapable of reading a room. And this movie, that's a setup.
That is a setup.
That is a setup for something that will happen later. That makes some kind of sense. And the bellboy goes on to talk about how he is also a writer, and he has a manuscript. And Ohm is like, "Oh, so you're dressing up as a bellboy for Halloween?" And the bellboy's like, "Well, no, I mean, I work as a bellboy to pay the bills." And Ohm's like, "Oh, so you're not a writer." Oh,
what a prick.
It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
He's such a bitch.
Unbelievable. And then he takes a spoon and he sticks it into a little, it looks like a candle container to heat up the spoon. And then he fucking burns Otto's hand with it.
Yeah.
Because he is the worst person.
He is a terrible human being.
Like,
and Albie runs off in defeat. And our main man...
and Ohm says, "You need thicker skin to be a writer."
And then Ohm picks up his drink and cheers, he says, to bleak endings, and drinks his shot.
And what does Ohm represent in this world but a lot of horror writers?
Yep. In
a way. He is excited by bleak, dark, depressing endings.
Actually, one thing we did forget. When Albie is talking to Ohm, he says, "I really connect with a lot of your characters." And Ohm is like, "That's a terrible sign because my books are full of horrible people who do terrible things. That's also kind of it reminded me of the people who are like, maybe I am the Joker.
Oh, I am the Joker.
I am the Joker.
Oh. I don't think there's anything wrong with like kind of seeing aspects of yourself in evil characters.
Yeah,
in a
like
way, if anything,
2988.
that might make you a better person because
That's
you'll be
true.
like, oh, I can
need
see,
to not do
I can
these things.
not do that. Yeah, exactly. But it's later in the night now. Fiona is worried about Ohm, basically.
Well, no, she's just cleaning up.
She's
shutting
looking to
down the bar.
return. She's looking to return his.
Yeah, he left
voice
a picture
recorder.
of his mother and his voice recorder at the bar when he left.
But he won't answer the door. So she gets Otto to come open the door for her. And Otto doesn't really want to because, well,
he burned his hand.
Understandable. But she's like, he's not answering. The way he was drinking earlier, I'm worried about him. We need to go in. So she gets him to open the door. And she leans into the dark room. And she's like,
it was spooky.
I need, like, you left your stuff down there.
Yeah.
Hello? And she turns on the light. And lo and behold, Ohm is
hanging around.
That's what the YouTuber said. That one video we watched.
He has.
Ohm has attempted to ride the sewer slide. God, I wish I could just say it. This fucking stupid app.
He is, as one would say, well hung.
He has attempted to end the journey.
He's gotten some good news.
He's closer to the roof than he is to the floor. By his own design. Good lord. Good lord.
He has raised himself a flag.
He's raised the bar. Anyway, and they immediately start trying to save him, obviously. Yeah. And
we get a very spooky flashback.
Yeah, we get like a black and white shot. He's gone down in an elevator to what looks like some kind of a basement level of the hotel. And he's like, oh, I've gone to the wrong place. I'll go back up. So he presses the button, the door shuts, and he hears an eerie wailing sound, which is a sound we will hear later.
We will hear it often, and it is horrifying and bone-chilling, and...
It seems as though he is getting some kind of premonition of his future, which is that later in the movie, he'll be there and hear that sound again.
Yeah.
And he'll be in an elevator waiting to move up, or something like that. I don't know. And maybe it's not a premonition, but the dream ends with his ghostly ghost lady that he saw earlier
and
appears,
she is standing right behind him.
And
he turns his head, and
she's gone.
Jumps, and we cut.
It cuts to him in the hospital. He's just in the hospital. There he is.
So here's what I thought when this scene happened. The door opens, he's hanging, and I was like, holy shit, this movie has so much balls, they just killed off the main character. And then it cuts to the flashback, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a conspiracy theory, the witch has escaped or something, and she's trying to, like, secretly kill everybody off. I didn't have super high hopes for the movie at this point. I was enjoying it so far, but I didn't have that moment where I was like, this movie's gonna be incredible. Yet. And yeah, so I that's what I was expecting, but then we cut to the hospital and I was like, holy shit, he survived. He has more to do in this story. And I'm very glad they didn't kill him off because I think the story would have been much worse if they had done that.
I didn't really understand anything that was happening my first time around. It was more so like I was on a roller coaster. Yeah. I was on a roller coaster of just different horrifying ideas, basically.
And you kept like trying to distract me while I was taking notes.
I wasn't trying to distract you. I was trying to tell you important shit that like I don't even remember now.
There are occasional like random splotches in my notes where I write down what you were saying and then go back to
a valid interpretation you could have here is that he has gotten some inkling of a fate that is coming for him, and he would rather commit suicide than face that fate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of a narrative I thought was going to play out in the movie, but it didn't. But it's still like it seems very. It gets your mind racing, you know, a little bit about where are we going. Where are we going with this?
But he leaves the hospital and he heads back up to the inn.
Not immediately. there's something of a time jump, at least several weeks.
Yes. I'm fairly certain it's been a month or two, because
Several
later they
weeks
will
could
say-
very well be a month or two, because
That's
later
true.
the term they use is several weeks. They say that in the movie.
Oh, really? I thought they said several months.
They say several weeks. I'm dying. Excuse me. I got hokumed. But he is going back to the hotel because Jesus Christ. Great idea. A haunted hotel where you tried to kill yourself? Go back.
Go back.
Go back. But Mal is pretty shocked to see him. Seems like it's about end of season for the hotel. It's a seasonal thing,
Yeah.
people only come up there. So they're closing down, and Mal's like, "Hey, how you doing?" So basically says he wants to talk to Fiona, right? Because he feels indebted to her because she saved him. So he wants to apologize to her and get her number so he can stay in contact with her.
He's trying to riz, dude.
Maybe he is. But Mal tells him that unfortunately Fiona's gone missing and has been since Halloween. Nobody knows what's happened to her. There've been search parties. The police have looked for her. And asks, has she been taken? To which Mal says, by who? And says, how the fuck should I know? Is there a local weirdo, a guest, someone who works here? Mal tells him about Jerry.
The homeless man.
The homeless man who drinks magic mushrooms, who we saw earlier in the movie. And this could be a red flag. This could be not a red flag, but a red herring, maybe, in the movie. He says there's police looking for him, and that Fergal saw Fiona talking to him the night that she went missing, and he hasn't been seen since.
They also say that his first wife disappeared under mysterious circumstances, and then Jerry was not seen for a long time.
I was trying to catch my breath because they described that he used to come into the hotel, he'd sit by the fire and ignore the guests, and that he doesn't do that anymore, and that, yes, a long time ago, his wife died under mysterious circumstances, and Jerry disappeared and reappeared here by this hotel. Now he's gone again. He has a pattern that they maybe think is going on. He kills some kind of woman. He kills a woman, and then he disappears.
He goes missing.
And he goes somewhere. He moves along with his life.
Yeah.
And then Mal tells that he should get out of there.
Yeah. He's like, go home, recover, do whatever you writer person do.
But Ohm's feeling some type of way, right? Fiona saved his life, as far as he's concerned. And now he's like, God damn it, she's missing? I feel like I need to...
He has some sort of sense of responsibility.
I need to try and do something.
Yeah. So he slowly ponders away, and Fergal, we see Fergal. He's at the fireplace. And Fergal's like, I bet you have some marvelous... What does he say? You have some great appreciation for female intuition now.
Yeah, and Ohm's like, yeah, well, I couldn't agree more. But Ohm wants to talk about, I'm so stupid, Fiona.
Yeah.
He wants to talk about Fiona, and he brings up Jerry. Yeah. Fergal absolutely thinks Jerry did it, him and everyone else. And he says, well, eventually Jerry will be back, and I'll be waiting for him.
He's going to get Jerry. He's going to stop him. He's going to take the big bad Jerry down.
He's going to take revenge. So Ohm asked Fergal if he talked to Fiona that night, and he says, yes, I did. She didn't seem herself. She seemed a little sad.
Probably from having to cut you down, which,
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah.
Me too, man.
So then he shuts the window, and Ohm asks him if the honeymoon suite has ever been searched. And Fergal says it's impossible that she would have been in there. Also impossible for it to ever be searched, because that room is always locked. And that basically his point is she could have gone in there.
Yeah.
And the searchers aren't going to go in there.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't matter.
I guess this is the first real point where it's like, this could be a problem with the writing. Like, in our American eyes, right? The cops are searching for someone, they're going to search everywhere. And you don't really get to stop them. However, my good faith interpretation is we find out that Fergal is related to essentially every single person in this local town's small guard, because it's a very small place, and he's related to all of them. So I think it is fair to say that the entire basic basically all of the town has been working in a search party sort of way to find this lady, and the hotel saying she's not here, we searched everywhere, is enough for the police officers to look for other options. And then also the distraction, the red herring of Jerry's missing, and also the last time he went missing, his wife died.
I think there's also an element of like there is the superstition about the
Potentially, yeah.
I think it probably most people around there at least know the story.
Yeah.
And Mr. Cobb is so like committed to it that he's like, I have the only key. Nobody could have gotten in there. And they're like, you know, he could be right. Can we go in there to look? He's like, fuck no.
Yeah.
No, you can't. But
you'll let the witch out.
That's them. If you're and you're some American guy and you hear about this, like if someone's just insisting, no way she's up there, bro. No, fuck.
It's not possible.
It's impossible. Also, nobody searched it. Your immediate thought would be, okay, so she's up there,
and you
did it. You put her there, didn't you? So, of course, it just immediately concludes this, and then Fergal tells him to basically get the fuck out of Dodge, and he has a little flashback moment where he remembers Fiona cutting him down from the rope with that little tool we talked about earlier that he found.
Yeah.
Tool which
he pulls he is walking to his car and he pulls it out of his pocket. It was put back in the pocket of his pants or something. And he pulls out this little, it's like a what are they called? I don't know. It's basically like a nail file. It's this little slicer deal. The thing he used to open the lock to open his gun, the thing that's used to cut him down from his sewer slide rope, and the thing that will maybe come back later to help him out.
There's a lot of setups in this movie.
There's a lot of setups. Chekhov's nail file.
Heads out, and he's decided he's going to do a little investigation. So he goes over to Jerry's van that's out in the woods, and and who is there but Jerry?
And with Jerry is Fiona's Irish folklore book.
That's a little suspicious. And Jerry tells he says, Fiona would be glad you woke up. And starts to interrogate Jerry.
Yeah.
He's asking him stuff. And as part of the interrogation, he's like, hey, the police are looking for you, man. And Jerry says, of course, he's implying that it's about his wife and about Fiona. Jerry says that's not the only reason anymore. As in, both of those things are probably reasons why the cops are looking for him. Yeah. If that made any sense.
Uh-huh.
It's not one or the other, it's both. So Jerry decides to tell the truth, which is that he did kill his wife, but it was a mercy kill because she was in extreme pain from illness. And he says he was Fiona's friend and that she lent him the book. He didn't steal it from her. So this is a little bit of like, this might be somewhat convincing because he is confessing to something like, pretty bad, but also being like, yeah, I killed my wife. I did. I absolutely did not kill Fiona. As opposed to if he denied both.
Yeah.
That would be more suspicious in a way. So Jerry ultimately says he doesn't know what happened to Fiona, but he knows for a fact that she's dead. And the way he explains it is the following quote. He says, there is a cupboard in Mal's office. I went there to stock up and I saw her. And then we see the scene. He is in the hotel, right? Stealing medicine. And he hears a bell going off.
And he walks out of the room to look at the old-timey service bells. And
these bells, they'd be for a room in the hotel. If someone needs help, they can ring this. Hey,
you
people
pull
downstairs.
on the wire and it rings the bell downstairs. And this bell is for the honeymoon suite.
Which has been locked. And there's a little something in there, There's a little something in there. Allegedly, there's something in the honeymoon suite that might be interested in ringing that bell. But the camera pans down, and something is there pointing at the bell.
It is Fiona, corpse-like, holding her hand up to point at the bell.
It's pretty nasty.
And we get a music flare, but this is definitely not the type of music flare that's relying on the music to scare you. It's just accentuating the terror.
Very much the ghost is scary on its own.
Yeah.
So, Jerry has a plan. He is got a hold of the key. He stole it from Mr. Cobb. And he is going to wait till dark when there's no one in the hotel. He's going to go up to the honeymoon suite, and he's going to see if somebody's up there. But Ohm wants Jerry to give him the key so he can go do it. Jerry explains why that isn't feasible and that they have to wait till night, and he asks him to go with them. They can do it together. But importantly, he agrees to do that, and that night, he asks Jerry some questions that the audience is probably wondering as well.
Yeah.
Like, hey, were you hallucinating?
Yeah, were you on your shroomy boys when you saw that?
And Jerry actually says, yeah, I totally was. They open your mind and allow you to see things that other people can't see.
Uh-huh.
And kind of doesn't have a response to that. You can sense that he is very skeptical, but he's also willing to try it.
Yeah.
Because he feels indebted to Fiona.
Yeah. And also he is, he's a normal person who doesn't believe in magic. He's probably rationalizing this all as like, oh, you're just going crazy, but obviously,
maybe the bell did ring.
Don't go check up there. She's probably up there.
And maybe the bell did ring and you just hallucinated the ghost, but the bell could have really been ringing.
Uh-huh.
You never know. But Jerry says, my wife's spirit visited me once on a trip. She thanked me for ending her suffering. Said we'd be together again someday. And Ohm he just says, believe what you want.
Yeah.
Which, wow. Fuck you dickbag.
Such an asshole.
And Jerry says, when we go up there and we find Fiona, you'll believe it too. To which Ohm says, what if we don't find her? Does this mean it's all in your head?
And then the last car drives past. The last car of the last person leaving the inn. So
Ohm and Jerry start walking to the hotel, and they just hear a scream.
Yeah, there's just some blood-curdling scream somewhere in the woods. And they just look up and keep walking.
When I tell you that this has nothing to do with anything that happens in the movie, I tell you that this...
Yeah, someone's just out there screaming.
Someone's just screaming, man.
Someone's getting, slaughtered by...
There's another horror movie happening
there's another
not
one
too far away.
Else.
This has nothing to do with the entire rest of the movie. I have no clue why they put this in. Maybe it's a hokum. Holy shit.
Gosh, it's a hokum.
Wait, no. This movie is like criticism proof now.
It is.
Because it can just anything, you just be like, oh, well, it's a hokum. Oh, wait a minute. Hey, wait.
This is cheating. Someone didn't patch the method.
This is annoying. I'm unhappy now. Anyway. Okay, yeah, I think, that is literally what it is. He just decided to put a scream in there because it would make us more scared.
It would make us more scared.
Regardless. and he built a reason why he's allowed to do that into the story.
He beat movies. He did it. He beat them.
Fuck.
How do you criticize it?
I don't know. I guess contradictions still...
Yeah, but I guess it's not really a contradiction because there could have.
It's not a contradiction. It's just a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing that happens in this universe.
It just happens. Yeah. So they decide to go in, and on the way upstairs, Jerry's like, "Well, I guess I might as well restock."
And Ohm's like, "No, dude, you don't need to go get more."
And Jerry's
pills.
like, "No, bro, I do. I do.
I got all I do."
He goes in there and immediately. Fergal takes his back, locks in the standing RNC.
Dude, it was beautiful.
I feel like this happens in a lot of movies. The standing RNC is a very popular movie submission.
Yeah, he didn't drop him. He should have seatbelted him, dude.
No, but then Jerry would have had time to be like, "Oh,
oh, fair."
So I do like, and Fergal seems like a big, strong guy. So he gets it done. But Ohm's lantern is kind of freaking out. He lifts it to a certain height and it turns on. Then he lowers it and it turns off.
Yeah.
It's a weird bug that can't really be explained by lantern. It more so is something's fucking with the lantern from the outside.
This movie's scary.
But Fergal realizes that somebody else is there. He grabs the crossbow and he calls the police as well. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to bring Jerry to you guys." Pretty much. They're like, "Okay. Understood. Glad you caught him. Good job, bro." But Ohm is already gone. He's on the way up. So Fergal grabs Jerry, drags him over to the van, throws him in. Ohm is by himself, face to face with the investigation. Where did Jerry go? He's got no clue. He suspects somebody else is there, but he's going through with it anyway.
Yeah.
Because this is important to him. He doesn't care if he gets caught. And he has the key.
So he goes up to the honeymoon.
But first, we see the honeymoon suite bell.
Oh yeah.
Starts ringing again.
Now I remember.
Now you might not know this yet, and we wouldn't. We might think that Fiona's still alive.
Uh-huh.
But she isn't.
So what
and something
rang that bell?
Something else is ringing the bell. And we already know there's a witch.
Yeah.
It's probably the witch.
It's probably the witch.
Good night. It's terrible. It's absolutely
horrifying.
Terrible. And I wish it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But Ohm gets in the elevator, he goes up, and he's got to the honeymoon suite. And we get the creepiest wall.
It's horrifying.
It's just a blood red wall with text on it that says, "Welcome to the honeymoon suite, where memories are made." And I think that is a good choice of words, because pretty much his experiences here are just going to be a bunch of bad memories that influence his life in the future.
And there's a table below this, and it has like a wedding cake on it and some memorabilia, and the cake is like all... It looks like someone went up to the cake and fucking hammer-fisted it.
Somebody...
It's all, like, flunked.
Some very angry person destroyed that
Someone
beautiful cake.
Someone had a very bad honeymoon.
Now, tell me why this happens. He is standing there, and he's looking at that writing on the wall, and the door just fucking opens.
It creaks open. It's the gust of wind.
Oh, it's the gust of wind. The gust of wind from earlier.
Yeah,
it came back. It fucking came back.
The witch doesn't have many spell powers. Dude, I just had a fucking heart attack.
What
anyway,
happened?
Nothing happened. I just got like terrified.
What? James, all that I literally like bumped my foot into the cabinet.
Oh my god, that was fucking horrifying.
Remind me to scare the fuck out of you at some point tonight.
Dude,
I will find a way.
I'm not gonna recover from that. Okay, anyways, so the witch has 2 spells that she uses in this movie, or 3 spells. She has Spider Climb, which is I believe a level 2 spell for monks and other... I can't remember which class of magic it's in D&D. But it allows her to climb walls, and then she has prestidigitation to make small gusts of wind and turn lights on and off and stuff. And then she's got
just the scariest spell.
And then she's got the
every horror monster has that spell.
And then she's got imprisonment of doom power. What is that? It's I guess it would be the capstone power for the warlock 5e fucking demon class that they use, where you can just send someone to hell because they can do that.
It
does like
what a terrible spell.
D10s
but
worth of damage.
The door swings open, and Ohm heads on into the honeymoon suite.
Yeah.
And the first thing he sees is something that will be important throughout the rest of the film. It's a little automatic clock. It's a little child with a golf club who hits this bell, and he does it every hour on the hour. You just hear the ding.
Yeah.
Which, fucking awful clock, by the way. Imagine you're sleeping. That would just wake you up.
It would be very annoying.
He spends some time walking around the honeymoon suite, and like we said before, it is just a frightful honeymoon.
It's a terrifying place, dude.
I would never, ever honeymoon here. I don't care if I married Draculina. All right? We would not be here.
The only thing that could make... There's nothing, actually, that could have made this room spookier. Can you think of anything? It's the spookiest room.
It's sort of optimized.
Yeah, it is perfectly optimized to be spooky.
Maybe little statues of scary-looking monkeys.
Or what about scary little clowns? Would that be scarier to you?
What about a freaky-ass doll somewhere?
That's true, a freaky-ass doll.
A freaky-ass doll would pretty much elevate
there's like carvings of little children screaming on the fireplace.
Oh yeah, that's great.
That's there for some reason.
Maybe just a music box that just at some point during your stay will start playing.
Well, is that scarier than the little guy who rings the bell constantly?
I reckon so. Like,
and the TV
if it only
happens,
happens once throughout the entire time you're there, you're there, for a few days, you're hanging out, you're creeped out, and then you just hear ding 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 ding.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awful.
Ding 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 ding. Bro.
But there is a
I would quit.
There's a tub, a jacuzzi, that is full of gunky water, to say the least.
Yeah.
Very gunky water.
What is it?
It's obviously someone.
It's some kind of witch's brew. I actually think that's what it is. I think the witch is making brew in here, and that's what this is.
I don't think it's witch's brew. I think it's an old tub that nobody ever took the water out of because they trapped the witch in there, and she's been bathing in there and making the water gross. But no, actually, it's just stagnant water, and stagnant water's really gross.
I think it's a witch's brew. It's a witch, dude. They make brews. That's what they do.
Why wouldn't she make brews in hell? Why would she make them in the room?
She doesn't actually get access to hell herself.
Yes, she does. Where do you think she is the whole time?
She's in the basement.
Hell. No, she's in hell, dude. She is 100% in hell. She literally locks both of them up and then walks through those doors at the end, and then they pull Fergal in. She is in there, hanging out with the demons.
Not Fergal, they pull Hal or Mal.
Mal, sorry.
But regardless, okay, sure, yeah, whatever. She can break brews wherever she wants. Sometimes...
God damn it.
This is her earth
now
brew.
You're telling me where I can and can't make my witch's brews.
This is a horrible case of persecution.
Yes. Yeah.
By you. But he explores his way into the bedroom. It's a pretty fucking, like, once again, the bed, it's got like a gray shroud around it.
Yeah.
I would never want to sleep in a bed like that. I want to be able to see my room.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be in there and be like, well, there could be anything in my room with me right now, but I'm just in this, my little shroud.
Like, imagine, dude,
are you fucking kidding me?
We have to redo our tournament, but on the basis that we have one of those beds, and they're all trying to get us while we're sleeping.
Dude, we lose
every single
time. There's no way
that we would win.
Like the shroud is a massive debuff.
Dude, you have destroyed me. I am just any noise. Oh god,
it is starting to get darker in here, and not. Okay. Well, we gotta finish this. We've been going for a long time. We're not that far into the movie.
We've only been going for like an hour and a half. But I guess we aren't very far at all.
He decides he's gonna sit on the bed and drink some alcohol.
Yep.
Now there's something. You know what? I'm just gonna say it. Otto, the bellboy, he decided to get his revenge on This is pretty insane,
yeah.
Right? Because he should know that Ohm has shown suicidal impulses.
Tendencies.
He decides to spike his flask of whiskey with magic mushroom powder that he got from Jerry.
Which is a crazy thing to do.
What a fucking bag of tricks.
Yeah.
And that's going to enable Ohm to see quite a lot of different stuff in this movie that he wouldn't have otherwise seen.
Uh-huh.
Because we already established you can only see the ghosts if your mind is open to it.
But when he sleeps on the bed, he has a dream. He's in we can't tell if the room is empty, but he's sitting on the floor, and basically all you can see is him. The room is like blacked out. You see him, this small circle of the room. He is playing with the gun that we saw.
He's eating cereal as well and watching Jackass.
Yes.
On the TV.
And he's playing while watching TV. The gun goes off. We see his small child eyes widen, and then we see milk pour onto the floor and oranges roll on the ground. And then his mother, presumably, it's his mother, it's very obvious.
It's the same ghost that has been following him for the whole movie.
Walks over, falls onto her knees with a hole in her neck bleeding out of it, and hugs him.
Oh.
And then we get...
It's pretty fucking miserable, because now you know.
It's pretty fucking bleak to say.
But we now understand a little bit more about Ohm. Because earlier in the movie, he said that they knew who did it, but he was too young to be punished, and they should have hanged him. He believes that he deserves to die for what he did to his mother, and he tried to hang himself. And now, Fiona, a woman who reminds him of his mother, saved his life, and he's desperately trying to find her after she's gone missing, because he's trying to make up for what he did as a child.
It's so bleak.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff. But guess what? Someone wakes him up. It's Jackass.
It's terrifying.
Lunges through the curtains, wakes up and it's not Jackass, it's Mal. Mal is in the honeymoon suite. And he's like, oh, how'd you get in here, man? And just kind of, he's like, well, I've been caught. I might as well just tell the truth and hope for the best. So he says he got it from Jerry. He came up to look for Fiona, and he didn't find her. And he explains that he felt obligated to look for her because she saved him, which, we already understood, but Mal didn't know that yet. And he's like, hey, can you just give me a ride back to my car? And Mal says, geez, man, you're lucky you didn't get locked in. Which is
that's another setup.
Well, I wonder what's gonna happen. So they start walking out, and Ohm stops because he's just realized a place he forgot to check.
He sees a little bit of a little corner that the light shines into, a little crack in the wall, and a little doorbell kind of thing. And he goes over to it and he goes, what's this? And Mal is like, it's a basement. It's a basement that was built before this was a hotel, and it's been closed off forever. There's no reason to look into it. Let's leave right now. We have to go. We can't be up here. And Ohm's like, oh, so she's down there.
Oh, so you killed her and you put her in the dumbwaiter.
That's
like Ohm is pretty clever, which I once again I love it when we have movies about characters who are intelligent
and not morons
instead of just complete idiots.
Yeah.
He's like, the best part is when Mal is like, dude, I could get in trouble. And then Ohm just looks at him and just reaches his hand up and presses the button. And Mal is like, we gotta get out of here, man.
We need to go now.
And he starts running out and he's like, come on, let's go. And then the dumbwaiter gets there and we see exactly what Ohm is like expecting to see.
It is Fiona in a bunny costume. We get a close-up shot of her name tag. It says Fiona, and she is long gone.
I appreciate a lot about this scene because you can just imagine what is going through Ohm's head in this moment, right?
Yeah.
Mal is like, "Hey, don't check the dumbwaiter. Don't check it." And Ohm is like, "I now know that she's in there. I could come back and check later, and it would probably be safer." Because right now Mal is here with me and he might just decide to kill me.
Yeah.
But Mal's probably going to take the key back. I might not have another opportunity. I have to do it now. I'm willing to put my life on the line because finding Fiona is so important.
And he gets his answer.
And there she is. She is wearing her Halloween costume, which is a pretty frightful costume.
Yeah.
It's like a bunny outfit, and she's dead, and she is in the dumbwaiter.
She's crammed in there.
And at this point, Mal has a plan. Mal is going to lock the honeymoon suite and basically hope that whatever is in the honeymoon suite will solve this problem for him.
Yeah. You could go with the interpretation that Mal doesn't believe in the witch, but I think that is a wrong interpretation. I think he definitely assumes something is living in there, and he's like, either he'll starve to death in here, which will solve my problem, or whatever haunted thing that's haunting this place will take care of it.
I don't think he would be thinking about the starve to death explanation because
Really?
There would always be just the fact that Ohm could ring the bell.
Oh yeah. That's true.
But I don't know. This is actually a really interesting. Does Mal believe in the witch? Because later on he is willing to go into the basement after Ohm.
But
you would think he would have just been like, I'm not fucking doing that if he knew that something was down there. Unless he just does he know?
Well, I guess because in the end of the movie, I don't want to skip too far ahead, but in the end he's like, I have one of two options. Ohm is not coming back up.
I can either just burn to death, or I can risk it.
Yeah, and get out of here.
I can risk experiencing a worse fate, but also I might survive.
Yeah.
Or I can burn to death. Okay, yes, I think Mal 100% knows about the witch, but then that makes me wonder why he would even bother going in there to try to like risking even going into the honeymoon suite to get Ohm in the first place?
I think it would look very, very well. Here's the thing: he doesn't know. I don't know if he knows that Jerry was there, right? Well, actually, no. I would assume that Fergal definitely called and was like, "By the way, I." Oh, Fergal does do that. Fergal calls Mal and says, "I got Jerry."
I think he calls the police.
Doesn't he call Mal as well?
I don't think so.
Because he says like, "I got him. He came back to the hotel. I'm on my way to put it to the police." And he tells Mal to call the police ahead.
So then Mal basically is like, well, maybe it's better to just get Ohm out of there.
Yeah. Because it would look really
I can walk in
if we
there.
have another person who went missing at this hotel, right? Because then they're going to find Fiona.
It's probably, yeah, okay, that would be it. And he's thinking, like, the witch is probably not going to come after me.
Yeah.
But he goes in, okay, so I think we understand it now. And then once Ohm finds Fiona's body, Mal is basically like, oh, well, at this point, now the best thing is just to let him die.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm basically toast.
Uh-huh.
So he runs out and he locks the door, and Ohm runs after him, and he sees the door is now locked and he's trapped in there. And then we see a flashback as to how all of this happened. And we get Mal and Fiona are together at the front of the hotel. She's wearing her Halloween costume. This is the night.
Yeah.
And Mal tells her that she needs to finish her tea.
And she's bleak. She is not. She's not herself. Obviously, this is fairly recent after she had to cut someone off of their sewer slide
contraption.
Yeah, so she is obviously traumatized. And he's like, "Finish your tea." And then she finishes her tea, and she gets all flumpy, and he's like, "Sit down," and puts her in the wheelchair, and then we get Mission Impossible, Witch Edition.
Yeah, of him, like, transporting her very furtively and very stealthily up to the honeymoon suite that he got the key for from Mr. Cobb somehow, right?
Yeah, and actually, there's more than one key. It's confirmed. I believe there are 3 keys. Fergal has a key, Mal has a key, and Mr. Cobb has a key.
I see.
Jerry acquired Mal's key, if I'm correct.
And then later Jerry acquires Mr. Cobb's key.
Oh, really?
Ohm gets it.
Yeah.
Mal takes it from Ohm.
Uh-huh.
Later in the movie, Jerry gets gets a key from Mal.
Okay.
Whether that is Mal's key or Mr. Cobb's key
doesn't matter as much. Yeah.
It doesn't matter, except that Mal only has one of them on him at a time. Yeah. He doesn't bring both.
Uh-huh.
Because why would he? If he gets trapped in there, it'd be better to have somebody on the outside with the key who can let him out.
Yeah.
So we see him transport her up there. He puts her in the dumbwaiter. He's like, "Hey, everything's going to be fine." And then he just lowers her down. But what he doesn't realize is that as he's lowered her, she still has the recording device that belonged to Ohm. Ohm used for his ideas.
Yeah.
She still has that on her.
But after we cut back, this is another payoff. I think it's after we cut back. We see Ohm looking around the room, and we hear the recorder play. Idea for a character. An unassuming charisma vacuum.
An oblivious charisma vacuum, completely incapable of reading a room. And he's like, "Oh shit,
yeah,
it's my thing." So he goes over and he checks her body, and guess what? There it is.
There it is.
And she starts playing it.
Well, she doesn't start playing it, but
no, he plays it. Yeah.
You said she. I was like,
I said he. You're just adding letters now.
I swear to you, I didn't.
You're just adding letters.
Recording, and you're gonna be embarrassed.
But she explains why any of this has happened. Is basically that he got her pregnant. She wasn't gonna tell anyone, but he just was so
he didn't want to risk it.
He was so worried about being known as the father and having cheated on his wife that he decided to just lock them in this dumbwaiter. And by them, obviously, it means Fiona and the baby.
Yeah. Hey, this movie is pro-life, isn't it? She refers to herself as we the whole time.
All right, I'm not going to go there.
And us.
I'm not going to even engage in this conversation.
W movie, politics. Anyways.
But he just puts them in there to allow them to die. And you might be like, why doesn't Mal just kill her and make sure that she doesn't suffer. And I would put that down to Mal being a very weak human being who's incapable of actually doing the physical act of killing her.
He's a coward.
So he just basically puts her somewhere where he can forget about her.
Yeah. Just hides her somewhere where she won't be a problem to him anymore, which is
absolutely
so
pathetic. She has already tried to find a way out, and if someone finds this message, she wants them to tell her parents that she loves them.
Hopefully that happens. We don't know, but hopefully he does that.
So then we see Ohm trying to get some kind of wall panel open with a knife.
So the deal is there's this little crawl space next to the fireplace, and it leads to a little exit. So it's basically a crawl space that connects the hallway with this creepy red wall, where you get off the elevator to the bedroom of the honeymoon suite. It serves some purpose that I don't remember. In the old-timey homes, they had them for a reason. I have one, in fact, right behind this wall, and it's terrifying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
But it's this little corridor that he tries to crawl through, but the other side is locked. However, he sees that it is a screwed-on panel, and one of the screws is a flathead. So he grabs a little knife, a butter knife, to try and use that as a flathead deal. And unscrews it.
He unscrews one of the screws, but there are smaller. There appear to be smaller, like Phillips head screws that he can't. He can't open them with the knife.
And then we get a cut to Jerry. Jerry woke up.
Well, first, can we talk about the ghost?
That doesn't happen yet.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
That happens after. Technically, he hasn't even unscrewed the screw all the way yet. We see.
Oh, it's not that he sees the ghost yet.
It's a terrifying, horrible noise.
He does hear something, and he does look, and you're like, dude, you're doomed, aren't you?
Yeah, he's doomed.
It's just, here it comes, the train.
Yeah,
you're on the train track.
One thing we forgot to mention is in the very beginning when he's writing his book. After the first cutaway where we see that the Conquistador is a story that he's writing, he writes one line that we get a close shot of. He just writes, "They are doomed," which is I felt that way a lot during this movie.
They are doomed. But,
we get to cut to Fergal. Fergal's driving. Jerry is asleep, zip-tied in the back of the car. And he finds some sort of thing to free himself.
Once he wakes up.
Yeah, he has like a pocket knife. He gets it out, cuts his zip tie, opens the back of the van, and it is insinuated that he jumps out of the van.
What a
we don't see him jump.
Beast.
Yeah, he's
we do know that he does.
Yeah, we know later. He does.
He's that fucking determined to save Fiona and save Ohm that he's willing to commit to that.
But we cut back to Ohm, and we're just getting a close-up of him unscrewing this screw. And he unscrews the first one, tries to kick it out, and we get a second shot of another screw. But this one is not a flathead. It is what's the other one called? I guess it was an Allen wrench.
It's like a little circle.
Yeah.
An Allen wrench.
And he's like, "Oh shit!" And we get a reverse shot, and standing behind him is his mother.
She was like crouching behind him, and then we don't see her at first because she's holding so still. We see her when she stands up and walks away. It is like it is a great anti-jump scare because she literally is there. We just don't notice her until she leaves.
Yeah,
which is really clever.
Spooky.
But he can't do it. He stands up, and the clock chime goes off. And I'm gonna assume that it does this like at midnight. It goes several times, and it gets deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Instead of just happening once. That's when he hears a terrible, terrifying noise coming from the dumbwaiter.
Yeah.
Something's happening.
It is the intercom that connects to the basement that's next to the dumbwaiter. The intercom turns on and you just hear like and Fiona's body
wailing
is gone.
Wailing. Ugh. Wonder where it would. But he starts to walk around once again. He's hearing all these sounds, walking around, he's investigating. And there's this shot where he's walking quickly, and the ghost of his mother is right behind him walking along.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, for so far throughout this movie, the ghost of the mother has seemed pretty frightful. But later we will realize that it is not actually a problem at all.
One thing
It is
I
a
noticed is every time we see her, she has less blood accumulating on her. From the very first time we see her behind him, that's the most blood we ever see on her. And it gets very gradually less and less as the movie goes on until the last time we see her when there's no blood on her.
I wonder why.
Maybe it's a symbol of him healing.
Maybe it's a hokum.
It is a hokum. Everything is a fucking hokum. That's what movies are.
This is absolutely absurd.
He cheated. You can't do this.
And then suddenly, just the lights just go out.
Yeah.
Why? It's because somebody's fucking with him.
Somebody's doing prestidigitation.
He grabs that lantern. He's fucking shining it around. He's knocking at the door. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock.
And then he looks into... This is when he looks into the hourglass, right?
That is when he... Well, maybe he does. Maybe I missed that.
I can't
in
remember.
My notes. But we definitely get the TV.
So he looks into this little, like, hourglass. No, this is what happens. He looks into an hourglass. There's a it's like the conquistador and the little boy are standing there. They're pointing. They're pointing to the dumbwaiter. That's when we see that Fiona's body is gone.
Why?
Horrifying.
It's a hokum.
It's a hokum.
It's just a fucking hokum. That's all we got. That's all we have to say.
But rewind, fast forward. The
TV turns on.
The TV turns on to static, and spooks you, and then it turns on to an episode of.
Before anything, the TV turns back off, and he's looking in the reflection of the TV, and you can see something standing behind him reflecting the TV. He's trying to see it, and then it disappears again when the TV suddenly turns on to our favorite TV show.
It's an episode of Jackass.
Jackass
has gotten a letter from a viewer.
Whoa, dude.
The letter.
Super chat.
He got a super chat.
Hey, thanks for the 5 from Ohm.
And he reads a note and he says, "Hello, my name is Ohm." And he's like, "I'm 8 years old." And he says, "What? Do you remember the monologue exactly?"
I don't remember the exact words, but he says, he's reading the letter. He says, "I accidentally shot my mother with a gun the other day and she died. Kids, what are the 2 things we do?" Or no.
He says like...
Before he says that, he says
like, "Guns are very dangerous."
He says everything dies, right?
Oh,
kid?
yeah. Yeah! He says... No, he's like, "Well, that's what we learned. What things die, kids?" And they go, "Everything."
He's teaching them important life lessons. And then he says, "What are the 2 things that we never play with?" Fire! And guns!
Because the story goes on, and Ohm has written that he was playing with his father's gun.
Well, I already said that. I already said that. That's why I skipped ahead.
Okay.
It's slightly out of order, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Trust me, viewers. The one of you.
And then Ohm tells Jackass that he's very sad because his father hates him now and wants to kill him and drinks all the time. And he's like, what he says, like, I feel so scared. I feel so scared.
He says, guess what? You should be scared. Nobody's coming to help you. You should be fucking scared. And then it ends.
Terrifying? Question mark?
The cool thing about this detail that was pointed out to us is that when you look into the reflection of Ohm as he's Ohm's glasses as he's watching this TV program, it's static reflecting back on his glasses, not Jackass.
So
he is hallucinating this.
That's an element that was noticed by do you remember the guy's name? It's called, he's like Raf's Movie Club or something. He makes movie reviews. You should watch his videos.
They appeared. I've only seen one of his videos, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, he does like movie review. He does a movie book club. It's cool. But he points out,
Mad Morph Movie Club. Yeah, that's what he's called.
Mad Morph Movie Club. I won't speak too much to it because I did not pay super close attention to that. But basically, his noticement was that throughout the movie,
what kind of a stupid
I don't know.
word
I'm
is that?
sorry, I can't do this. I'm scared. But throughout the movie, we will see many hallucinations, and the way, you know how Inception, they're like, if the top keeps spinning, it's a dream. Even though that rule gets broken later in that terrible, horrible movie. But anyways.
Haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either. I just know a little bit about how it works. But You can look at you can see Ohm's glasses reflect a lot of things in this movie, and your way to know if he is hallucinating it or not is if you can see the reflection of it in his glasses. And I think that's a very cool little detail, but an easier interpretation is simply that basically if it has to do with his personal life or his trauma as a child, it's a hallucination, or if it has to do with the witch, it's
definitely real.
Definitely real.
And it is confirmed later that the witch is the witch and everything involved with her is absolutely 100% real.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's as easy to say that like all the things involving his trauma and childhood are hallucinations. I don't think they are.
Well, it depends on what. So I think
they are real paranormal occurrences that you can only see if your mind has been opened by, in this case, psychedelic or by other and
things. We, the viewer, have our minds open because we're watching.
Because we're watching a horror movie.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's cool. Whereas the witch, it just is there and it can just be seen.
Yeah.
No matter what. Which is why Otto the Bellboy can see it.
And why
Mal can see it. But only Jerry and Ohm see the ghosts throughout the movie because they are the ones who are on shrooms.
Yeah. But where were we?
You've gotten lost in the notes.
After the jackass thing happens, he is terminally spooked.
He's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. So he decides to go down the dumbwaiter.
First the little guy starts dinging, and Ohm, because he is scared.
I believe we're going to say the same thing.
Okay, well, then I will say it because I'm cooler than you.
Unreal flame.
After the terrifying television turns off, the clock chimes, and it scares him, obviously, because he didn't expect it, and from my interpretation, he is annoyed at this thing for continuing to scare him, so he goes over to the chime, and he takes the bell off of it, so that the little guy can no longer ring the bell. But the little guy spins again, and he hits the wall, and we hear a tap. And then Ohm gets the idea. He looks at the dumbbell.
No, you see, this is where your mistake is going.
You think I'm mistaken?
Yes, because originally he is going to get into the dumbwaiter. He's just going to hop in and go down to see if there's a way out from the basement. And then something activates the voice recorder. We can assume it is either the ghost of his mother or the ghost of Fiona.
Yeah.
Is trying to assist him.
And she says,
she's like, I've already tried the button at the bottom to raise the dumbwaiter and it doesn't work. Which clues Ohm into like, oh, I can't just go down there.
Yeah.
And because if it doesn't work, if there isn't a way out down there, I'll be stuck. And that's when he gets the clock and he decides, since it triggers every once in a while to basically turn and push the button, he's going to set it by the dumbwaiter and have it hit the button over and over again so that the dumbwaiter moves on a timer. And I think I said earlier that it probably chimes every hour. I think it chimes way more often than that.
I agree.
And I think that the 3 chimes is on the hour.
Oh.
It probably goes off like every 15 minutes.
Okay.
But
it could also be very possible that they're just like skipping time so that
I don't know. I don't think he was down in the basement for that long though.
Well, it isn't shown to us. It's possible that he set it all up and then waited like 30 minutes or so.
I don't think so, because once he gets down to the basement, he can't have been down there that long because something else would have.
Say, what if he waited like 55 minutes?
Besides, there's so much.
I'm going down there for 5 minutes.
There's so much that happens in this room that's like boom, 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 event.
We don't really.
And this thing's going off. I reckon it's a pretty quick interval.
It probably is pretty quick.
So he decides.
It doesn't really matter either way.
He decides to set it up so that it can bring him back up, and he kind of synchronizes his watch to it, and then he hops. He gets ready to hop into the dumbwaiter, but first he has to pull Fiona out.
Yeah.
To give himself room. He does. He takes her out. He gets in, and he activates the little device. And he descends downward. And I think it's safe to say that he probably doesn't believe that there is a witch down there.
Oh no.
He doesn't
believe it all.
He knows something is going on because the lights have been going out and stuff. So he heads down there and he turns on probably the scariest lights ever designed.
Yeah.
They are.
They're
so-
like,
they're
if you've
such
ever
creepy
seen
little lights.
the lights that they have in like mines after you go down an elevate like a mine elevator all the way down deep into the Earth's crust, they're those little lights,
Yeah.
and they're horrifying.
Why would you ever willingly put them in your basement? Is the question.
Because to spook.
He climbs out of the dumbwaiter and he walks down the hall and he finds a bunch of little trinkets and objects that have been hung up from little cords, and it looks like they are trophies that have been taken from victims of the witch.
One of them is the Zippo lighter.
The Zippo lighter that Otto dropped earlier in the movie.
Another one is a little figurine that we Stop making that noise, you're scaring me. And then another one is the little figurine that Mr. Cobb used to tell spooky stories to the boys.
And Ohm decides at this point, after he's explored the basement a little bit more, very creepy basement, it's underground, there's no way out.
There's no way out.
He decides he's going to play Fiona's tape recorder again, which, listen, all right, if I was Ohm, I would have listened to the whole tape recorder beforehand just to see like what information Fiona's found out. But he decides he's going to do it now, maybe because he's down there and he's like, at this point, I want to know what she has, what she's encountered or what she's seen so I can make a decision. But he listens to her tape recorder and she is explaining that she is hearing some noises.
Yeah.
She's hearing something and she's like, oh God.
I think there's something down with me.
I think there's something down here. What is that?
And then you hear the wail again.
There's just a wailing sound coming from the tape recorder, and Ohm turns it off, and he's like, "I gotta get the fuck out of this basement. I'd rather starve to death in the honeymoon suite." So he runs back.
Too.
He runs back to the elevator because
Dude,
not only did a sound come from the tape recorder as he was listening to it, there was another sound similar that clearly came from the basement.
Yeah.
He gets in the elevator, and as he's on the way there, he finds a stick of chalk that's laying on the floor in the basement.
There was also
probably used by
Fiona
or Mr. Cobb as well.
Oh.
They may have both used it over time.
Uh-huh. But there's some there was like this little mural drawn on the wall with the chalk, and I don't remember what it was.
Something scary, probably.
It looked like some sort of
Hokum.
Some sort of hokum to scare you.
Just a general hokum, I think.
I thought it was kind of like a seal of some kind that locked her in the basement, and then by taking the chalk away, he maybe freed her from the basement, but she's still... Well, that doesn't make sense, because she got to Otto. I don't know. It's something that's written on the wall. He takes the chalk, and he runs to the dumbwaiter.
Once he grabs the chalk, he hears something approaching him.
And he hears wailing, and he hears cackling.
He runs, he gets in the dumbwaiter, and his timer goes off on his watch, but it's not going up yet. He didn't quite line it up perfectly.
Yeah.
Maybe the other clock is off by like a minute or something. And then the lights go off, and he hears... brother.
It's doing the bad horror movie thing in a very good way, where he's looking down this corridor and the farthest light turns off, and then the next furthest light turns off, and as the cackling and footsteps grow louder, they keep turning off. Something is approaching him. And right when the dumbwaiter starts going up, he sees the witch.
He sees its face looking at him through the hallway. And
smiling.
Once again, I want to comment, like, this is such classic. This is such classic horror, and it is deeply fascinating to me that the really classic, like, almost standard horror stuff literally exists just for the purpose of, like, being a plot device to scare you.
Yeah.
It's really something, isn't it?
What a commentary.
It's a comment. Like, a lot of horror movies aren't really trying to communicate some deep message. They're just trying to spook you.
Yeah.
And
this movie
Hokum is doing a commentary on movies that are doing that.
By adding a plot that is, while they are telling a very good theme that is well done, they are simultaneously doing the funny horror movie thing that doesn't necessarily directly affect the theme.
They're just having a standard fucking evil witch chase this guy. And it's just like, it's so they're doing such a phenomenal job executing on a basic horror premise as well, where like what I am watching on screen is terrifying, especially when you combine this thing is chasing him, he's trapped in here with it, plus the myth that Mr. Cobb told the kids earlier in the movie.
It's going to drag him slowly, piece by piece, into hell.
It's so fucking good, man. It's so good.
This movie's great.
So luckily, the dumbwaiter gets him out of there.
He's escaped,
and he hops out,
and he sighs relief,
and he takes a look down the shaft. He's like, "Huh," and guess what?
The witch is
just
coming,
fucking climbing up the wall,
slowly laughing.
It's such a it's
and this is where
awesome.
We get our understanding that this witch isn't necessarily going for mad efficiency. She enjoys whatever torture.
She must. Otherwise,
and
she would have snatched him up way sooner.
Loves to draw the pain out. She's having a great time, and it's spooky.
She likes fucking with you because she is just a demented fucking witch.
She is doing the Hokum.
She's literally using Hokums on people.
She's using Hokums as a Hokum.
Unbelievable. Catastrophic. But he takes off. He's running. He runs into the bedroom. The witch is chasing him. He shuts the door. The witch is trying to get through the door. She can't get through the main door, so she goes around to the bathroom. And I almost forgot about him running in the bathroom and falling into her brew.
Oh, yeah.
That does happen. He sort of stumbles into the brew.
The main door to the bathroom is locked for some reason. I don't remember why, and he can't get through it. So he jumps through the little opening. There's like one of those openings where you can see the bathtub, so you can watch your now wife bathe while you sit there watching her. Pretty lit, but he jumps through.
Yeah, okay, he said that. I just want to say I don't really have a part in this whole thing that he's talking about. He lands in the brew and is now wet and sopping and scrambling to get out as the cackling gets louder. He gets out of the bathroom, locks the door behind him, and runs to the bed. That's when he remembers he has the chalk.
Yes. And we get a shot, we hear the witch, and we see there's a window above the main door to the bedroom, and we see her, she hops up, and we just see her head looking through, laughing at him.
She gonna get him.
Terrifying. She gonna get him. He's doomed, by the way. He's doomed.
It's completely cornered.
And she is like slowly, we see her through this like stained glass.
Her hand reaches through and she starts trying to unlock the door.
And he starts drawing the chalk around the bed. And just in the nick of time, he completes the circle. So we hope and hops in the middle of it, in the bed. And she walks into the room. And we can see through the terrifying shawl around the bed, her face,
I guess,
staring at him, walking around in circles.
In this situation, where the witch is just going to be standing outside the circle for however long, would you prefer for the shroud to be there, or for there to be no shroud and you can just see the witch?
I think both are terrible, horrible options, and there's no better one.
I think no shroud.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you also said that you would piss on the witch,
Absolutely.
which I too would do.
Like the moment I need
to pee really, really bad,
yeah,
and you're sitting here, you're pulling that thing out. You're pissing on that.
I'm launching it directly into this witch's face because fuck you for trying to drag me to hell.
Yeah.
I piss on you, witch. I would do that as my final moment of defiance.
And my comment on this is that I would do that, and I would immediately do something to like fatally mess up. Like the piss would wash away the chalk circle, and then she just grabs me by the balls and drags.
No.
Me. There's like a shackle around my. It's like a penis ring.
No, you're being dragged away.
And they took away the thing most important to me. They locked up my cock and ripped it off of me to hell.
Dude, that's miserable. Well, at least if they rip off the cock, maybe you'll get free.
I think I would rather die than live life without my cock.
Fair enough. But I guess the thing I wonder about that is, do you think the witch would just like take it, or do you think the witch would try to dodge?
I think
the piss.
Well, you said that you believe that the reason she has ended up in there is because of some perverted sex thing, right? Because most witches have to do with perverted sex deals.
Yeah, if you look at like old mythology about witches.
I'm calling it. She opens her mouth She opens her
Dude,
mouth.
that would almost be scarier.
Yeah, it would be horrible.
I'd be like, she's mogging me right now. She's mogging me. I'm like, I'm gonna piss on you. And she starts swallowing it. I'd be like, bro, what am
What are we doing?
No, but I think in all seriousness, I think open curtain is better because then you can get an idea of what you're fighting.
Yeah, that's
and be
true.
like, hey, maybe I could.
You can throw a jab.
Yeah, right outside
She
the
just
circle.
grabs your hand. That'd be
I'm
horrifying.
like, can I hit her? If I can hit her with a nice stiff jab, she'll probably go down. But she might cuff me while I'm doing it.
Risk versus reward. But she completes a full circle, and then
Well,
what
we get a
happens
time
after
jump. It looks like the sun's going up and she disappears. So she doesn't like to come out during the day.
yeah, something
Very
about
classic,
the day.
very witch-like.
Uh-huh.
But at this point, Mal comes back to the hotel
And
and he sees Jerry's van out front of the hotel.
no, he doesn't. He sees it's
What is it?
Ohm's car.
Oh, it's Ohm's car.
Ohm's car. The door is open. There's bloodied handprints on it and a blood trail leading
I see. I
into the
misinterpreted.
hotel.
At least we're here to fix each other when we misinterpret
Yeah.
things, you know? But that means somebody's been in Ohm's car. That's not good for Mal.
No,
That's not good at all.
that's not good at all.
But he goes inside and he follows the blood up to the honeymoon suite
Uh-huh.
where we see Jerry looking like he just jumped out of a van, for God's sake.
He's bloodied. He's holding an axe and he's like laying at the gate and he's like, Mal, I need you to help me.
You gotta
He's
open
up
this.
there. I know he's up there.
But Mal's like, no, he isn't, dude. I took him to the airport.
Yeah,
He was
Mal-
drunk.
Mal does a very good story where he says, I came in there this morning. I found him drunk on the bed. He drank himself to sleep and I drove him back to the plane. He's already on his way back home. And then
Mal,
And then-
you know, as murder cover-uppers go, you know, he's
he's doing a good job so far.
mediocre, yeah, decent, you know.
He's not like
I mean,
Hannibal Lecter.
the stories that he told Ohm weren't exactly super effective. If I was him in that situation and Ohm was fucking with a dumbwaiter, I would have just been like, man, we gotta go. And I would have grabbed him by the shoulders and just brought him out and then locked the door. Then Ohm can never get back in, and he's basically just left with his suspicions. But Mal
Yeah.
decided to go another way about it. Jerry is asking about Fiona.
Uh-huh.
Then we see Ohm has gone to sleep in the bed somehow. Don't know how that's possible.
I don't know how I would fall asleep.
Don't know. How, maybe
I'm awake
maybe
for
he
the
just
rest of my
drank more
life.
alcohol.
Probably. That would be kind of awesome, wouldn't it?
He's like, I guess I might as well get drunk as fuck. I got no
He
other
just-
option,
he
you
gets-
know?
That's the reason why he's pissing on the witch, dude. He's like, "Hey, fucking witch trying to kill me."
witch. I choose to believe it happened off screen.
But
He
yeah,
gets up, he goes to the window, and he sees that there's a car outside, and
he starts
he's like,
looking
someone's
around.
here. I might be able to get
He
help.
starts going, "Hey, help!" But it's the room is too far. Nobody can hear him. And then we get Mal talking to Jerry. He's like, "Listen, dude, the cops know." He's like, "I already called the cops. I told them you're here. They're on the way. They know about your wife. Just listen. I'll let you take Ohm's car, and you can run, and you can get away." He's like, "Just go now."
He's presenting many arguments. He's like, they know about you. They know you're here. They're coming.
Yeah.
I'm offering you an escape.
Uh-huh.
And
He's
you,
just get out of here.
if you were Jerry thinking rationally, you might be like, why are you offering me an
Yeah,
escape?
absolutely. But Jerry,
But like in a situation like that, you would be like, they're coming. He's giving me a way out.
he's
I'm just
also
gonna take it.
he's on a crazy adrenaline crash after jumping out of the van, obviously.
Yeah. So he basically he rolls with it. He takes the fucking key. He goes outside, and as he's leaving, Ohm realizes, wait a minute, the bell was ringing. I can go ring the bell. So he runs over to the mechanism. He starts ringing the bell. Mal notices that it's happening, but Jerry's already outside. Well, here's the deal. Jerry realizes he forgot the keys to the car.
Yeah.
So he starts to head back in. And now Mal is seeing Jerry's coming back.
The bell is ringing. Fuck.
Oh, no.
And right when Jerry puts his hand on the door knob to open it up, the wire that connects the bell ringer to the honeymoon suite, it breaks.
It's a little bit of
it snaps.
it's a little bit of just a kind of a misfortune.
Yeah.
Like, Too bad it happened at that exact moment.
Yeah,
right?
it's so sad. Bad luck though. Bad luck is better than good luck.
Yeah, I'd rather see bad luck in stories than good luck.
Yeah.
Um,
And
so Mal is relieved. He grabs the key, gives it to Jerry, and meanwhile, Ohm is like, shit,
yeah.
I need to find another way.
Something we notice here is when Jerry opens the door, Mal looks horrified. He's like, I don't know what to do. He's so stressed out. And Jerry notices this and he's like, Are you all right? And Mal's like, I'm not feeling good at all. I really need to go home. Can you please leave? Basically. And so Jerry's like, well, see you later. And he hops in the car and he drives away. And
it's at this exact moment that Ohm manages to break through a portion of the wall and access the
well, no, Ohm sees the car drive away and he's like, fuck. But he goes back and he breaks the thing down and tries to grab that because he's like, maybe there's someone in there who will help me still. So he's reaching around.
Finds access to the wire and he starts ringing.
And Mal returns to the office. What does he do exactly?
Well, this is the point where Jerry comes back again.
Well, Mal has like returned to the office. He grabs some sort of memorabilia, and he's sitting down there and he's like, sigh of relief. I made it. Everything's fine. Ohm has kind of given up on the bell. And then a couple minutes later, Jerry's there. And Jerry's like, Fiona used to say, never ignore when something feels off. Something feels off to me. If you dropped Ohm off in town, why'd you come back here? And Mal's like, oh, well, I had to get this thing for my wife. And Jerry's like, why would you do that? And he's like, can't a guy do something nice for his wife? And then Mal grabs the hatchet.
No, well, before that, the bell.
Oh, yeah. And then
bell starts ringing.
Like, can't a guy do something nice for his wife? And the bell rings.
And Jerry sees it.
And they both look at the bell. And Jerry looks back, picks up his hatchet, and is like, give me the key.
And Jerry's such a good guy, dude.
Jerry is
a lot of people in this movie are actually like decent people.
Yeah.
Like even Ohm, who's like really an asshole. Like the entire reason why any of this is happening to him is because he was determined to save somebody, or at least figure out what happened to that person.
He's like desperate to save himself and someone else. He's desperate to rationalize his existence.
The entire reason he's here is like he had no actual need to go to the honeymoon suite. He had no need to go look for Jerry. He is just trying to save Fiona or find out what happened to him. And Jerry is just trying to save Ohm at this point. Mal is the real bastard here. And obviously Fergal is
Mal tells Jerry he doesn't have the keys, but Jerry's like, give it to me!
Because obviously you have the key.
And he gives him to the keys, and then Mal
gives him to the keys.
He gives the keys to him, and Mal starts like groveling. He's like, you didn't know Fiona like I did. She wasn't a good person. And then he's like, why do you want to save him so bad? He tried to kill himself anyways. But Jerry does not care because Jerry is the G. Jerry is the goat, and Jerry's gonna save him. So Jerry goes upstairs, and we see Mal. Mal grabs a wool coat or some kind of blanket or something that was in the lobby, and he throws it over the heater in the fireplace. He covers the heater so that the heater will light the wool on fire and burn the place down, hopefully with Jerry and Ohm and Fiona's body in it.
And I do
cover up his crime.
I do have one tiny question here about like plot stuff. If he decided to burn down the hotel, why did he also decide to go on and do the things that he does later on?
I think it could be, like, in good faith, I think it can be described as he is thinking very irrationally, right?
I guess he thinks maybe it would be no problem for them to escape the fire, and he's like, I will kill them, this will destroy the evidence. Maybe.
No, what I think happened is he's like, fuck, what do I do? They're gonna catch me. He's like, I'm gonna burn this place down. So he throws that on there, the fire starts. He's like, yes. And then he goes, fuck, they have the key. They might be able to get out. I have to go stop them so that the evidence is burned. But I already started the fire. Fuck. I guess I can get back fast enough. Runs up there.
He's got the crossbow.
Follows Jerry in with the crossbow.
Because, spoiler alert. Let's talk about the next few events because I think we now understand.
Yeah. So Jerry has made it
Jerry has made it to the room, and he gets the door open. He opens that little hatch.
Yeah.
And he's like, fucking dude. Get the fuck out of here. And then he gets shot.
Yeah,
right?
and
Arrow
then
through
he
his
falls. He gets hit with the crossbow. Mal ran back up there, and Mal shoots him, and then he...
Ohm gets out of the way real quick, and Mal's standing there with his crossbow. Ohm is somewhere in that place.
Uh-huh.
There might be a witch in there as well, and there's also a fire that's burning things down. Mal is like, fuck, I'm not going in there and doing this.
So Mal's like, you gotta...
He's like, you better not come out.
Yeah, he yells like, you better not come out. And then he retreats immediately.
And at this point, Ohm is like, well, Jerry must have gotten in here somehow.
So
he must have the key.
Yeah, he crawls up to his bot. Well, actually, so Mal, after he shoots Jerry, grabs the hatchet that Jerry had, so Ohm doesn't have some sort of thing to escape, which is very smart of Mal to do. But he forgets one critical detail and leaves.
Which is that the gate closes automatically at a certain interval.
Okay, so here's what I actually think happened. Well, this doesn't do much of a good idea, but I think that maybe Jerry opened the gate, ran in, Mal followed the gate and shut the gate behind him so nobody could sneak out behind him. And thinking, I'll just get the key.
Doesn't the gate close on an interval, though? I thought that was the thing.
Said that as an assumption of why the gate was closed, but I think it makes more sense if Mal was like...
Well, Jerry might have closed it, or Mal might have closed it.
Well, Jerry couldn't have closed it because Mal didn't have a key to get in. So Jerry must have left it open.
Mal must have closed it.
So Mal, like, if I was to guess, either it closes on an interval, but we aren't shown that, or Mal was like, okay, I'm going to close it behind me so that they won't be able to sneak out behind me and trap me in here.
Yeah, that makes sense. So Mal
leaves, and Ohm crawls out and searches Jerry's body and gets the key.
And at this point, he decides to go back into the honeymoon suite.
The scariest place on Earth.
And I don't... Okay. This whole climax, there's a lot of shit happening.
Yeah.
So what I'm wondering now is why Ohm wouldn't, at this point, just go for the exit. Because he wouldn't be thinking, oh, Mal's going to be there waiting for me. He'd be thinking Mal's getting out of here, right?
Yeah.
Or would he? Maybe he would be like, I'm going to get this key. I'm going to go back in here because Mal's probably out there going to shoot me.
Yeah. So I guess if you were Jerry, or if you were Ohm, right? You hear Mal say, like, you better not come out of here. And then you find the key on Jerry's body, right? You must be thinking... Mal had another key. He just killed Jerry, and now he's, like, waiting for me at the exit or something to make sure I don't escape. So he's like, what do I do? Maybe I can wait it out, because he doesn't know the house is on fire yet. Or maybe Mal at one point... No, Mal tells him the house is on fire later.
I'm just curious how Ohm would construct the plan to lure Mal into the basement when he doesn't even necessarily have the information to know that Mal is trapped there with him.
It's a stretch, but I think it can be explained of he got the key. And
did he hear did Mal, like, when he goes to the gate, did Mal go like, fuck, or something?
Well, yeah, he was like...
Oh, yeah, he pounded on the gate, didn't he?
But I don't think...
Ohm might have heard that and been like, okay, Mal's trapped in here with
I don't think Ohm would have heard that. I think Ohm's first guess would have been, okay, I have the key. That means I can get out of here. I just might have to wait for a little bit.
Then why did he go to the basement?
He doesn't go to the basement until Mal comes back up. Because Mal comes back up out of the elevator and starts searching Jerry's body.
It's an event-complicated
a lot of
climax,
stuff
but I think we've got it. I think everything makes sense so far.
And so Mal is going through Jerry's body, but Jerry doesn't have the key. And Mal starts yelling to Ohm, like, you can't get out, the house is on fire, just give me the key. And Ohm looks at the dumbwaiter. And he looks at his contraption, and he hops in. And this is right when Mal crawls through the little crawl space, stands up, and sees Jerry going in.
And
he sees Fiona's body sitting in the chair. And he runs over, and he's yelling down the elevator, or the dumbwaiter shaft.
It's not the dumbwaiter shaft, it's the microphone. It's the intercom
he's
speaker.
Over the intercom. And he's like, listen, the house is on fire. We're both gonna die. I'll let you come out. We can get out of here together. Just bring the key back up.
And of course, Ohm is like,
Yeah,
No.
Ohm's like, hell nah.
You're gonna have to come down here, and there's something else.
Yeah, Ohm is in the basement, and he is drawing a line of chalk around him in a circle, and right before he finishes, we see the witch.
It gets in right before he finishes.
Right before he finishes
the
it.
circle. Absolute tragedy.
Yeah, tragedy. And then we get a shot. Mal has come down the dumbwaiter.
It is interesting that in that moment, while he's doing it, he hears like a clinking of chains, and there is the voice of a woman who calls out Ohm, and that's not the witch. I don't think it's the witch. That's either going to be Fiona or his mother, basically trying to let him know, hey, something's coming.
Yeah.
Get it fucking done, but he doesn't get it done in time. The witch gets in. It's a pretty cool jump scare. The witch, it looks like, it really does look, you haven't seen Barbarian. It looks a lot like the monster in Barbarian.
Oh, really?
They're very similar. It's just one of them is obviously a witch, and the other one is obviously just like a decrepit woman.
Yeah.
Basically.
So Ohm is got, but Mal doesn't know that, and Mal, so here's what Mal is feeling, I think. We have already stated that we believe Mal believes in the witch, but Mal has, we talked about this earlier, he has one of two choices. He can burn, or he can risk getting captured by the witch to get the key back and possibly make it out with his life. And I think he definitely is like, I have to go down there. I need to survive.
He's gonna gamble. He's gonna gamble because in his mind, a chance at living is better than a guaranteed death.
Yeah.
But
which, do you agree? Would you do it?
You gotta wonder though, is your fate gonna be way worse?
Yeah.
We don't know. Like imagine the choices. I either shoot you, or there's like a coin flip between you live and you burn to death.
Honestly,
right?
House fire death, underrated way to go out. You're gonna pass out by smoke long before you start actually burning, and then you just never wake up again.
But it's the choice between the better death or a chance at life
living
and a way worse demise.
Yeah. And he takes the gamble.
He goes with the gamble. I don't know what I would do. I hope I never have to make that choice.
And we see him walking around.
He goes down the dumbwaiter. He walks down the hall.
He encounters the hanging memorabilia that we saw earlier, and there's an additional one.
The keychain.
It is Ohm's keychain. And he begins to cut it down. And there's one of two reasons why he begins to cut it down.
So he can use it to get the fuck out?
Oh, was the key on it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. That's why there is a red heart attached to it. It's meant to be very visible because Jerry has it.
Yeah,
and then it comes back around. Now it's hanging.
I didn't get that.
Recognize
for some reason, I thought that it was like a personal belonging to Ohm, that he had that red heart on him for some reason.
Yeah, no,
I never realized.
That's the key
that makes much more sense,
to the honeymoon suite. And he's like, oh, well, there it is.
Yeah, so he's cutting it down, and he hears some cackling. You can see Ohm, his little light sitting in the far corridor. You see it hanging out there, and Jerry's trying to cut it down super, super fast. He knows why Ohm is stuck over there, and then it gets him.
Yeah.
It gets him.
Too fucking bad.
We get a witch jump scare, and then Mal screams. He looks down, and his hands are cuffed. And there's a chain leading down the corridor. Yeah.
And then, it's
bleak.
it appears that something terrible is going to happen to these guys. We see Ohm is under the spell, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason he's not doing anything. He's sitting on the floor.
Well, I don't think that he is spelled. I think that he is like,
I think it's
over.
No, I think
because Mal was fighting back against the chain. Why didn't the witch spell him?
I think he was spelled. It's just when you see what's going to happen to you, maybe you have a little bit of fight in you. I don't think the spell exists. My interpretation is that Ohm is under a spell, and then his mother basically saves him from the spell. Yeah, we get a shot of his mom. She's holding him much like she held him in the flashback to when she died. And she's like... Well, he is talking to her first, and he says, "It was an accident. I'm sorry. It was an accident." She says, "I know. You can't stay here." And he says, again, "It was an accident." And then she puts her hand on his chest and disappears. Which, when he puts his hand in his pocket, in the spot where she put his hand, that little file tool that was used to save him from the noose earlier is there.
And this is when Mal starts getting dragged away.
There is like a set of double doors, and they open, and inside is seriously one of the creepiest horror visuals I've ever seen.
It's like a conglomerate of heads, but you can only see the eyes.
You can see kind of silhouettes of them, and they all have like weirdly shaped heads that almost look geometrical.
Yeah.
And bright eyes, and they're all making like this frantic, loud like noise.
Yeah.
But very, very like distorted and discordant and frightening.
And Mal starts getting slowly dragged to it, and Ohm starts filing away at the chain to try and get out. And right as Mal gets dragged through the doors, Mal gets cut free. He stands up, runs to the key, cuts it down with the same nail file, and hops in the elevator right as the little man
clicks it and sends it back up. But good
and you
lord,
can hear Mal screaming.
You can still hear Mal just howling. It's fucking frightening, man.
It's gruesome.
Seeing him get dragged in there as he's screaming was like, it was very uncomfortable, especially the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
That was pretty despicable. That was a pretty despicable choice of visual.
But Ohm makes it back up the dumbwaiter. He gets out of the dumbwaiter, greeted with Fiona's body, and the whole movie her eyes were wide open. You could see the death in her eyes, but now her eyes are closed.
What could this possibly mean?
It could have been a mess up, but I think it was very deliberate and intentional. I think
there was a reason they showed it to us so explicitly.
I think she's come to peace.
Because her killer is now being
mutilated.
He is now eternity. Going through
hell.
Misery. Forever misery.
Yeah, but Ohm gets to the thing, walks past Jerry's body, gets down the elevator, and at this point, the honeymoon suite.
At this point, he begins to choke on the smoke.
And he falls over. But the other goat of this story, Albie, has ran into the hotel.
It's not Albie, it's Fergal.
Is it Fergal?
It is Fergal.
Okay.
Fergal has come to the hotel. Or do we know why?
I thought it was Albie, but maybe if it's Fergal, right? He lost Jerry. He's going back to the hotel.
Oh, so he goes back to find Jerry, him.
Yeah.
That would make sense. He goes back and he hears the voice. Fergal actually hears the voice of Fiona calling to him from upstairs.
Oh,
she's
really?
like, Fergal, you can come here. Uh-huh. And that leads him to Ohm. And then he saves Ohm.
Yeah.
Which, there you go. Fiona is continuing to look out for Ohm as long as he's in this situation.
Everybody's just awesome in this movie except for a few people.
Yeah, like it's a rare horror movie. Everybody is a good person except for Mal. And then I guess Otto is kind of like, you spiked the man.
Yeah.
But he also burned you, so.
Yeah.
We come to the final scene of the movie, which
second to final.
There's also the epilogue, but
he's in the hospital. He's on his laptop, and Albie comes in. Albie's like, hey, I brought you this gift from Fergal, and it's a bottle of alcohol, obviously. And he's like, oh, thank you. And Albie sits down, and he's like, can I ask you a question? Albie's like, sure, shoot. Or he says, like, you're going to anyways, I guess.
Yeah, you mean Ohm.
Ohm says that. And Albie says, they found you with alcohol up there. Were you drinking that bottle? And Ohm's like, well, yeah, duh. And Albie's like, I'm sorry, I spiked that with magic mushrooms.
Dude. Fuck
what
you.
A crazy thing to do.
Unbelievable behavior.
Ohm is now sitting here, and he's like, what the heck has happened? He's like, did they find the bodies? And Albie's like, yeah, they found Jerry, they found Fiona. What about Mal? He's still missing. And then Ohm looks down, and there are very obvious bruises on his wrists that are like handcuffs.
Yep, this is we get the two pieces here. Mal's body was never found because
it's in hell.
He's in hell. And Ohm has the bruises on his wrist, which means everything to do with the witch 100% happened.
Yeah.
There's no question of it being a hallucination. That That is interesting. They really wanted to confirm that, as opposed to other movies, which might have left it very open ended.
Yeah.
But I think there's a reason they did, and I think we'll get to it when we talk about, final thoughts.
But Ohm's like, damn man, why'd you spike my alcohol? And Albie's like, you burned me with a spoon. Which kind of fair, I guess.
Sure, but come on, man.
But
I was obviously having a bad night.
Yeah, and then Albie's like, I'm sure, since you're in a foreign place, you're not going to have many visitors. Ohm's like, well, even back home, I probably wouldn't have had any visitors. But Albie's like, maybe to kill the time, I'll bring my manuscript for you to read. And Ohm's like,
haven't I been through enough? It's not hard to see why Ohm would be upset with Otto in this situation.
I thought it was kind of going to be okay, fine. But no, he's like, haven't I been through enough? But in like a slightly jokingly way, not in a completely sorrow way. And then Albie goes, I'll polish it up and bring it to you tomorrow. And runs off.
Ohm begs for him to take the bottle of alcohol with him. He's like, dude, I cannot. First, I think it's a combination of two things. I think at this point, Ohm is deciding he's going to give up the alcoholism.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, he's like, what if you spike?
Yeah.
There's
that seed of doubt.
I don't trust this.
Something isn't right here. And Albie's like, oh, don't worry, I didn't touch it.
It's like, yeah, okay, take it.
Sure, bud. I don't
Get it out of here.
Albie takes it and runs off, and then Ohm goes back to rewriting the end of his story. And in it, we see the conquistador holding the bottle above the boy's head. And then he drops the bottle down, defeated, like, I can't do this. He is basically the feeling that I get from it. And then he turns the boy around and he's like, I'm so sorry. Take this. And he gets on his knees in front of the boy and he says, hit it right here on my head. Don't stop until the bottle's broken. And then follow the map saying, all is mine, until you reach the destination. And then he's like, I love you. Just do it. And we see the boy holding the bottle over the conquistador's head. And then he throws the bottle out of his hands. He throws it into the desert, drops to his knees, and hugs the conquistador. And they embrace in the circle. And then the camera pans out. We see the bottle in the sand sitting next to a ram's skull. Cut to credits.
It's a very good movie. That was probably my favorite movie I've seen this year so far in terms of like 2026 releases.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've seen movies this year that came out, before, but this is my favorite movie that came out this year, I think. And I really think the point of it is Ohm goes through something absolutely terrifying, absolutely petrifying, and that causes him to change his outlook on the fiction he's writing to give it a happy ending. And I think Ohm is kind of meant to stand in for us and stand in for the creators at the same time and basically give the message of like, shit, man, you go through scary shit in life a lot. Maybe sometimes we deserve a happy ending to the story.
Uh-huh. Also, it has the idea that in the movie, Ohm tries to take his life. He's lived his whole life believing essentially that he caused the death of both his father and his mother directly and his father indirectly. And he even says in the movie, they couldn't try me. I was too young. They should have hanged me. Well, he doesn't say that directly about himself. That's what we learn he's talking about. And he decides finally at the end of the road after he's spread his parents' ashes that he's going to take his own life. And he's saved. And I think ultimately that he's lived his whole life not wanting to die, wanting to find his happy ending. And at this inn, he just comes to terms that there is no happy ending for him, and they should have hanged him. And so he takes his own life when he's drunk, but he is saved by Fiona. And there's a big, what would you do if you tried to take your own life and woke up alive?
And the person who saved me happens to be Somebody who reminds me extremely distinctly of the person I'm killing myself over.
Yeah. So any person would wake up and they wouldn't say, "Damn it, I failed." They'd say, "Why did I survive? Why did I survive?" And to find out, yeah, the person who saved you is the person who reminds you of the person that you did this because of. And so you go back just to try and say thank you, to say, like, I have maybe not a great appreciation, but I have a new appreciation for my life. I'd really like to connect with this person, but that person is missing and nobody can find her. Maybe this can be my redemption. I can save the person who saved me, the person who, you know, the person who is representing the reason why I killed myself because I thought that I hurt her. Maybe I can redeem myself. And he tries to redeem himself, but ultimately she was already passed and he couldn't save her. And then just the next closest person to him, I guess, would be Jerry. Jerry loses his life trying to save him. And somehow he makes it out of almost the depths of hell. He dipped his toes into hell and came out the other side and you can't go through that without gaining this massive appreciation for, I survived all of this. All these people died to get me to where I am right now. I better do some good with my life. I think that's ultimately what he learns is I need to make their lives worth it.
Yeah. And then, of course, there is the third question of who do the characters in his book represent, right?
There's two interpretations for...
I'm sure there's more than two.
Well, there's two main ones, I would say. Two main ones you would get from watching this movie is the conquistador and the boy either represent the father or his father and him as a child. And in the end, the character that represents him as a child is given the happy ending that he never got as a boy, where him and his father embrace, and, you know, we don't know what happens to them, but basically live happily ever after. Or
die in the desert.
Or the other interpretation is that the conquistador represents adult Ohm and the boy represents child Ohm. And the boy is basically trying to... What is the boy trying to do? Trying to follow...
Really, it's that he is trying to kill his past self so that he can unlock his newfound purpose or his newfound power, just to make things right.
Yeah, but in the end, he accepts the boy, he accepts him, what he did as a child, and his child self embraces who he is now. Right?
I like the father interpretation.
And
I'll explain real quick why I think the father interpretation is very strong. Is because of the circle, right? Uh-huh. The circle in the desert that they need to make the sacrifice in is equivalent basically to the condensation circle from his whiskey glass. He brings his son into that circle, and also the fact that the path is literally within a bottle. The thing that he's so desperately looking for is contained within a bottle. He has been basically leading his son down this dangerous path as he's pursuing the thing he wants most, up to the point where he is willing to kill his son in order to get what he wants, which his father would have let him die so that he could keep drinking.
Uh-huh.
The father in this story would have broken the bottle over the boy's head in order to get what he wanted from within it.
Yeah.
So then when he rewrites the ending, he is metaphorically basically inserting, like, this could have been the happy ending of my life. This is the happy ending I want people to read about, is the ending where the father refuses to sacrifice the son for that vice, and the son does the same thing for the father. But then there is the other interpretation that also works.
I think that it is a very strong interpretation. However, what I believe is that in the beginning, when he's writing this story, he is intentionally trying to make the conquistador the representation of his father and make him the boy, to make his child self a representation of the boy. But I think by the end, it's more accurate to say that the conquistador, when he changes it, he is rewriting it as, I may have become my father, and I may also be trying to destroy my childhood self, but now kind of becoming a reflection of my father, I will stop the cycle. I will embrace my child. I'll sacrifice myself for that. And then the child equally sacrifices himself to say, or says, no, I'm not going to sacrifice you for this continuous cycle. So I think it's a mix of both.
Well, the fact is, when you're writing, you can be drawing from multiple sources of inspiration and injecting them into the same piece of media. So I think both interpretations could be true. One of them could be true. Both of them could be lies. I don't know. Maybe he's getting it. Maybe he watched the movie.
Maybe a conquistador represents the witch.
Maybe.
And the boy...
You never know, man.
The story's ultimately about the witch deciding to spare him.
But, you know, it's not what it is. I do wonder whatever happened to the... Is the witch just out there?
I think the witch is just out there.
Oh. That's not good.
Yeah. But he's not in Ireland, so it doesn't matter.
It's fine. Hey... I like to think there's going to be a Hokum 2 where he goes back there to fight the fucking witch.
Mr. Cobb's sitting here. He's like holding his face in his hands, looking at his burnt down inn.
Oh, like, no. And then he just looks behind him and the witch is just standing there.
It's like the Planet of the Apes meme. He's like, no. No, 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 no.
No, Hokum 2, it's like Alien and Aliens, where the first one's a horror movie and the next one's an action movie. It's just about going back to fight the witch.
There's like a montage of him like putting weaponry on, turning fastening the belt with his giant gun that he's got.
Yeah, it's the fucking clip from Predator when Arnold Schwarzenegger's getting ready to go fight the...
He walks in with a Tommy gun.
He's got a fucking 240 Bravo. This big old beast. Terrible things. I do want to talk briefly before we end this. I want to talk about you said earlier that you think the higher form of story is the story that doesn't have a bleak ending, the uplifting story.
Yeah.
And I want to hear your reasons for that, and I can say what reasons I might have to disagree with you.
Well, I wouldn't say that a movie objectively is better. I wouldn't say a happy ending makes a movie objectively better than a movie with a bleak ending. I don't think there's an objectivity thing to it. But, like we've stated, art is subjective. I think stories are very important because stories are ultimately supposed to leave us with something to either think about, something to ponder, something to have
some kind of idea,
some kind of lesson. I think that a movie that is very good but has essentially no theme or meaning behind it would not be an enjoyable movie. I think that would be
I think if a movie is that good, there will always be some kind of theme or idea you can pull from it no matter what, even if the writers didn't intend it.
And I think that it is, well, to say, like, there can be movies with bleak endings, right, that are good. I think the movie Seven has a very bleak ending, but it is my favorite movie, and the bleak ending leaves us with a very important lesson. And the lesson of Seven is basically like, the world is a terrible place where dark things happen, but we should always fight with all of our power to save it anyways. We shouldn't let the nihilism win. Everything Everywhere All at Once, I wouldn't say as a bleak ending.
It's super uplifting.
It's a super uplifting
It's incredibly uplifting ending.
But a lot of people, they take from it incorrectly that it's a movie of praising nihilism, basically. Which is it? Maybe it is praising nihilism.
It's a movie praising a form of
ultimately nihilism. Its lesson is not that nothing matters, fuck it all. It's nothing matters, which means everything matters.
It's like we can... Right? Yeah, exactly. If there is no existential... We're not talking about that movie right now. That deserves its own 25-hour video.
There are writers, like people like Ohm, who will write bleak endings for the sake of bleak endings. What is the world what are we left with if his very popular trilogy ended with the conquistador killing the boy and wandering the desert for the rest of his life?
I think that's the difference, though. I think we are always left with some kind of lesson, and the lesson in that case would be like, selfishly, endlessly pursuing your own vices and
Will
your
ultimately
own
leave you.
will just like it'll leave. It's like the ending of Uncut Gems in a way, right?
Yeah, pursuing your selfish desires will ultimately
It'll destroy
leave you
yourself.
destroyed.
It'll destroy everyone around you. You'll
Unsatisfied.
be alone, unsatisfied, and you'll die that way.
But I still would go with, I think that if you have the option between two endings where one is bleak and leaves you with a message like that, but one is, say, cheerier, one is more uplifting and leaves you with a message like, I guess, what does the message give us at the end? It tells us that you should, I guess, to us, the viewer, it tells us, you should accept your faults and stuff. But in the story he's writing itself, it would more represent like throughout all these trials and tribulations, in the end, nothing is worth destroying the one person who's stuck beside you the whole time.
Nothing is worth that.
Yeah. I think that's a better lesson. And I also think there is a little bit of meta-analysis of, like Fiona says, she's like, what a bleak ending. I'm not going to read your book. A lot of people don't like bleak endings. The normie audience wants happy endings. And so you have the balancing act of, I can make this movie have a bleak ending and leave it with the same message as the happy ending. But if I left it with the happy ending, maybe it would reach more people and the story would have more, the meaning would have more effect. So it's like, if it doesn't make the story worse, why would you not choose the option that could potentially lead to more people getting a good message that would help them in their lives?
Because sometimes it would make the story worse. That's the only thing.
Potentially, yeah, but like, do you think Seven would have been a worse movie if, say, Brad Pitt didn't kill Jon Snow? What are the
Jon Snow?
John Doe?
Jon Snow.
Different guy.
I've got your wife in the books.
I've got your wife's head in the book.
I've got it in a box for the watch.
Jon
Snow, dude.
Like, say that ending would have been happier, right? Would it have made it worse?
Yes.
Probably.
Yes.
I don't know.
If the ending of Hereditary had been happier,
they defeat King Payment.
If they defeated King Payment, it would have been a worse movie.
But it could have been happy. It just would have had to be different.
I think what if
What if King Payment brought riches and socialism to everyone and everyone was happy?
It would have been a worse movie. I think the definitive take on all this is that the reason why Ohm's story ends this way instead of the other way is because it represents a changing perspective on life. It's a commentary on, if you believe that the world is just a bleak, horrible place full of bleak, horrible people doing bleak, horrible things, then that's all you will put out into the world. But if you go through something that convinces you otherwise, like that your mother's ghost is trying to help you, good people can make mistakes. You made a mistake because you were a child. It had horrible consequences, but it was an accident. And you can still be a good person. And Fiona was a good person. She tried to help you too. You go through an experience like that, it's going to change the way you think about the world and think about people. And the way you write is going to reflect that.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the end of the story changes. Someone who thinks that the world is just like, that we're living in Peaches and Creamville, all of their stories would just be pleasant endings. And then somebody who has like a balanced perspective that recognizes there's good and bad in the world will write stories that reflect, multiple happy endings, sad endings.
I guess mostly where I get this is I've watched a few, not a lot of videos, but a few videos on what's the name of the guy who wrote Game of Thrones again?
How am I forgetting his fucking name?
What is his damn name?
He's big fat guy.
Yeah. A Song of Ice and Fire by
good lord, I've literally read it.
A song
George R. R. Martin.
George R. R. Martin.
That's his name.
So basically, C.S. Lewis or not C.S. Lewis, Tolkien and Martin were writing not at the same time, but
Martin was writing long after.
Martin was inspired by Tolkien, and Game of Thrones is inspired by Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. But, but Martin takes the more cynicalist, nihilistic take. He makes it dark, basically. Tolkien was very against the idea of stories. Basically, his writing philosophy was, you shouldn't write... It's not good to put a character in a situation where... He was very against the moral gray. He was like... He believed that doing bad things to ultimately achieve a good end result was not a good thing. And that in his belief, there is always a way to achieve your end goal, your good end goal, without doing the morally gray thing or the bad thing. You would never kill the one person on the train track to save the 5 people. He believes that there's always a way to get around it. And that kind of reflects his writing style and the difference between, say, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones, where Game of Thrones is basically every single character is in the moral gray and a very bad person, but a very bad person can lead the fight to a greater end goal. Whereas Lord of the Rings is like, the morally good would never do something...
You mean Game of Thrones?
No, I mean Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, the morally good, the good guys in Lord of the Rings would never do objectively terrible things. They would go out of their way to try and do the right thing, and in the end, that will be the reason why they win. Like they could have Aragorn could have killed whatever, I can't remember what the king's name is who's possessed. He could have killed him. He could have just ended that all, but instead he spares him and exposes Wormtooth, right? And then they get the Rohans or whatever, the horse people.
The Riders of Rohan.
The Riders of Rohan. They get them on their side. It's like in Tolkien's mind, doing the right thing will always end up with more good happening. The good will compound.
Yeah, yes.
Which is understood. A happy-go-lucky way of writing, but I think I would agree with that as opposed to Martin's way of writing, which I don't think that it's I wouldn't go as far as to say it's objectively worse. I think that Lord of the Rings is better than Game of Thrones, but for reasons other than meaning.
It's because the end of Game of Thrones sucks cock. That's why. It's because the last half of the show is trash.
But
and the Song of Ice and Fire isn't even finished.
But I think that it is, I think Tolkien's a better writer. I think that is a better way to write.
Well, here's my counter for you, right? As somebody who... Okay, I'm going to explain a little bit of like the philosophy underlying this channel, the philosophy underlying why we discuss movies the way that we do, is because I think that stories... Ooh, how far back can we go with this? We can go pretty far back with this. Humans are different than other animals, and whether you think this is because of just some evolution or because of religion, the fact remains the same. Humans have an understanding of stories, complex series of events, and the why behind things. More than other animals, which understand basically simple whats.
Yeah.
Dog understands that if you ring this bell, it's dinner time, and it should salivate, right? Pavlov's dog.
Yeah.
A human could understand why Pavlov's dog even worked, because the human understands all these different complex pieces. And you start learning this from a very young age. And the reason why fictional narratives are so important is because they are basically long analogies that explain a perspective on life or some idea about life, right? Mm. And they're all different. They're all arguing for different perspectives.
Yeah.
And you would see like a time like back in the 1960s or the 1950s, right? When the FCC or the FTC rather was very like, you can only put these kinds of things in your movies. All of your movies have to ultimately be patriotic or preach a morally uplifting message and cannot include this type of subject matter. I think that was an attempt to limit what kind of arguments we can put into stories. Whereas nowadays, it's a lot more free. So you can have a creator like Peter Jackson see Lord of the Rings and be like, I want to put this on the big screen, right?
Yeah.
This is the kind of story that I want to argue for. And then you can have, on the other side of it, you can have D&D want to make George R. R. Martin's books into a TV show
Uh-huh.
because they're going to argue for a different perspective on people, on humans, and what kind of humans should be in charge.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, in this world, there are people who are like Captain America, who are just righteous and pure.
Yeah.
There are people who are like Luthen Rail or someone, like operating in the gray. There are people like Tony Soprano. There are people like Hitler, right? There are all
It's
these
a crazy series of events.
Well, that's
Captain America
true. These
to
are,
Hitler.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's a whole
Yeah.
wide spectrum of
Uh-huh.
different type of people out there. And all of these stories are just arguing for what kind of perspectives are good for humanity. What kind of perspectives should we be putting weight on? What kind of perspective should we be against?
Uh-huh.
So you do need to have all these different kinds of stories that show all these different kinds of people so that you can decide for yourself. Because humans download these fictional narratives, we extract information from them, we convert them into life,
Uh-huh.
into philosophy forming perspectives.
Yeah.
And that's why we want stories to make sense.
Mhm.
Because if stories are analogies for ideas, if I was arguing with you trying to convince you of something and I used an analogy that was like broken or flawed, you'd be like, hey,
Yeah.
that doesn't work. That analogy doesn't
It's
make
like if
sense.
you said fortune favors the
Yeah.
bold.
If you made a movie and the goal was the theme was going to be murder is bad, and then everything that happens in the script would persuade the viewer that murder is good, then you haven't done a very good
Yeah.
job of communicating your theme.
Yeah.
And you can take that as far back down to the minutest little plot events can always have an impact on whether or not your theme fully works.
Yeah.
And Hokum is a movie that I'm happy to say is pretty solid.
Yeah. I think I know I told you a few criticisms I had with the movie last night, and we talked over it. I think I'm left with one single criticism, and it is barely a criticism. So, if you flash forward back to when Ohm enters the inn and Mr. Cobb is spooking these children with this story, he is telling them how the witch... He's basically explaining how the witch works and what happens to you when the witch catches you. And he explicitly says that the person farthest along the chain that the witch has captured, the traveler who is closest to hell, is always the one that they're picking pieces off of, and they move on to the next one. And they just keep moving on to the next person as they slowly devour these people. However, in the very end, Ohm is both captured first, and he is much closer to the doors. However, Mal gets caught, and Mal is dragged first into the underworld.
I have a couple defenses. First of all, Mr. Cobb was never caught by the witch. He might just be extrapolating from what limited information
that's
he
what
has.
I was going to say. Is he could have the wrong information. He could be exaggerating. He could be
Also,
just wrong.
the ghosts of Fiona and the ghost of Ohm's mother may have protected him
Yeah.
to an extent. And also, like, even when they're down there, it looks like the way he describes it is very different than what we actually see happen.
Uh-huh.
Because Mal, they're not being dragged along together on like a long journey. Mal is just dragged down the ramp
Yeah.
through the double doors into
Hell.
the worst
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
and he's left up there as if he's going to be dragged down next, right? They're going to go
Yeah.
one at a time. So I still think it works. There's probably stuff to be criticized in here, right?
Uh-huh.
But take this against a movie like Obsession, which has a very strong theme it wants to communicate, but the problem is you introduce an event where it's like, oh, they could have solved this whole movie by getting a homeless person to make a
do
wish.
the anti-wish, yeah.
That kind of that severely undercuts the theme, in my opinion. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, that doesn't map onto what you're trying to tell me about real life.
Yeah.
I can just get a homeless person to solve my problem for me.
Or say a movie like Backrooms, where they force what the theme they're trying to tell you down your throat the entire movie, but the story doesn't reflect that at all. It, in fact, reflects literally the opposite.
It reflects nothing.
Yeah.
The government will save you.
The government will save you.
The company will save you.
Company Phil will go into the back rooms and save you and free you.
Yeah. But I think this movie did a better job of being very consistent. Here's an interesting question. I think we both agree that Hokum is better than Obsession.
Yes.
If Obsession didn't have the problems that it has, if it sealed up those major problems, which it could have done, we did a whole video on it where we explained what we would have changed to make it a bit better. Do you think it would have been better than Hokum? Do you think which movie would have been superior?
Okay, let's think about this for a second. Obsession. Both of these movies are very good at scaring you, and both of these movies have very strong themes. One of them is, I guess, Hokum's theme overall is I guess I'll start with Obsession. Obsession's theme is what happens when you give a person desperate for this outcome, who is obsessed with the person, unlimited power over them. And how will that play out? And how will the bad decisions that person makes ultimately lead to his doom? And you put that, you have the theme of consent, which people talk about all the time.
Consent,
you have the theme of codependency and how codependency
obsession,
will destroy you.
Obviously.
And if they had sealed those leaks, they would have the very strong theme of codependency will ultimately destroy both people involved, and the only way to break it is to break the cycle from within. And you also have the narcissism theme. You also have all the other stuff that it's going for very strong. But you put that up against Hokum, where Hokum has a theme of, Hokum has much more. I think that Hokum, even if Obsession would have sealed the deal, I think Hokum's theme is a lot stronger and much more deep and layered. Because not only is...
I don't agree with that at all.
You don't agree with it?
I think they're both super deep, dude.
I'm not saying Obsession isn't
Obsession,
deep.
We literally have, we have 7 hours of video of us talking about that movie, going through multiple different interpretations and perspectives on different events.
Well, I'm not saying that
with this movie, we kind of covered all the different perspectives on it, I think, in the last maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Well, we covered the ending secret themes, but not only that, but the whole idea of the Hokum, right? That is a major plot telling. I think it looks deeper than it really is. That's a fair thing to say.
I completely understand what it is.
Uh-huh.
Another thing I want to point out about Obsession that really elevates it is the performances.
That's true.
These guys are doing everybody in this movie who acts, they do their job.
Yeah.
To a sufficient degree.
Yeah, they do what they need to do, but Obsession...
You have Nikki and Bear.
Uh-huh.
Both of those actors are fucking killing it. It's unbelievable. They're award-winning performances. They must be.
Yeah, that's very,
especially
very true.
Nikki. And I actually do think Obsession is scarier.
You think Obsession's scarier?
I've concluded that Hokum is a bit more existentially dreadful in terms of what a horrible fate, but Obsession is more just frightening. It's more frightening.
I think that's fair to say.
But I don't know if that might be a benefit of watching it in a movie theater as opposed to watching it here.
That's true.
I was more scared watching Obsession sober than I was watching Hokum under the influence.
I guess I would say I'm very bad at handling horror movies. I'm one of the worst, potentially. Probably the worst. I was afraid of Killer Sofa.
The worst. Very worst.
But I am always more scared by the existential dread movies. Mostly because, The Boogeyman, a movie that came out where you were initially terrified, and on your second watch through, you were like,
I wouldn't say terrified.
Well, you were like, this is a very scary movie.
This is effective. This is effective,
But on the second watch through, you realized all of the terrible holes in that story.
Nonsense. Complete nonsense. That movie is utter hogwash.
That movie, I don't think I would describe that as existential dread. I would describe that more like frightening.
Yeah.
And it didn't leave me with as much.
It doesn't leave you with much to think about, really. Except for why did the candles not work?
What I'm trying to say in a very bad way is I'm going to think more about Hokum, and it's going to keep me up at night more than Obsession did. I think. I'm definitely going to be thinking about, I'm not going to be thinking about Hokum as much. When I went to see Obsession, that movie fucked me up in the brain to the point where I was always thinking about it. I was like, what is with, there's something very, very,
special about this.
Yeah.
That is, it's stuck in my
I
head.
don't know.
But-
Maybe I agree with you. I think Obsession may be better.
But why is my favorite horror movie Hereditary? It nails existential dread, and it is super just in your face frightening, at least to
Yeah.
me. The scares in that movie, I've said before, were almost like specifically designed to fuck me up specifically. Like it knows all of the life events that have happened in my life
Yeah.
in order to construct the perfect scares to just ruin me. And then it also makes sense. So it's just kind of like, it's just hitting everything. And yeah, Hokum's frightening, but it's not that frightening,
Yeah.
you know? But I really like it. I would give it probably an 8. Yeah. Really solid execution of some really solid shit. And I don't really know if it has that X factor to make it a 9 film.
I give it a 7.8.
Where'd the point 2 go?
Because I couldn't decide between 7.5 and 8.2.
I don't know.
Those numbers just feel right to me, so I'm splitting the difference.
I don't get into the decimals. I mostly think of the different digits as like just a different category. Like a 9 out of 10 is
I see
like
what you're saying, yeah.
like high, like art that I'm going to remember forever.
Uh-huh.
An 8 out of 10 is like a really good movie that I'm going to recommend to people. 7 out of 10 would be like, it's a quality film.
Yeah, it's a quality film, has some problems, but they can be overlooked. A 6 out of 10 can
A 6 out of 10 is it's basically a mediocre film that is entertaining and enjoyable and does some things well. And a 5 is a
Well, I think that
mediocre
because
movie.
we say a lot, we say this movie was an enjoyable 6, right? I think that 6 out of 10 can be described either as a movie that was pretty fun to watch, but it was like a very fun watch, but it's not necessarily a good movie, like Obsession or Dune. Or there is the other side, which is it's a movie that isn't fun to watch, but the plot works, I guess.
Yeah, it's just kind of like mediocre, but it's a bit above mediocre.
Uh-huh.
A 5 is very mediocre, and then a 4 is like definitively we're starting to get into bad movie territory.
Of course, like that movie was worse than your 5 out of 10.
That movie is worse than a movie that
I wouldn't
would be
recommend
average.
this, but I'm not having a completely awful time.
Yeah, like
And then
that
3 out of 10 is like
3
that's
is like
bad.
3 is like this movie is extremely bad. 2 is
Don't go see this movie.
Once you get down to a 2 territory, that's when you're getting into movies like The Rise of Skywalker,
No,
where every single
can't.
scene is just completely unbelievably fucked.
And then
in
a
some
1 out
way.
of 10, which is the funniest explanation, is a 2 out of 10 movie that includes either a multiverse or time travel, because everything is immediately broken after that.
Multiverse and time travel are good examples of that, but it could be basically like any high physics concept or any high level mechanic that would just impact every single story thread. Because once that is super broken in a movie that broken, it just drags everything down somehow even lower. So a 1 out of 10, it's a very specific kind of movie. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is a good example of a 1, I think.
Yeah. Or basically many of the newer Marvel movies,
but like,
many of the
your enjoyment of something can also like not reflect the number. Like my enjoyment of Obsession ranks very high, even though I think it's a 6, and my least favorite experiences with movie watching have been like
5.
Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is probably a 2. It's not a 1.
Yeah.
Or like Seed of Chucky, which is probably like a 3 or a 4, right? Even though there's movies that I think are objectively worse, I might enjoy them a bit more for whatever reason.
I think Backrooms was one of the least enjoyable films
Right.
I've ever watched.
Backrooms
That was probably a 5 out of 10.
Completely unenjoyable, and I give it a 5.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's how we rate movies here, and it mostly has to do with how well does this film argue its point.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, we've been recording now for 3 hours. That's a good length.
That is a good
You
line.
got anything else you want to
Nice
say to
and
the
long.
people?
Go watch this movie.
Really like this one.
It's upsetting how it hasn't gotten as much praise as Obsession and
Yeah, it
Backrooms
got
are getting.
severely overshadowed by 2 more movies that came out later.
Which is disappointing. It's a very good movie.
Out of the
Go
3,
watch.
this is the best one. This is the best one.
It is the
It
best
just
one.
is. All right. Thanks, you guys.